Okay, so hey Precious, thank you for being there. Just give me a second, if you don't mind. It has been a very exasperating experience over here. Let me see if we can see each other. Hello. Hi Precious. This is Lumination. I'm over here in the United States, you're up there in Canada. So the signal is going out, okay? I've had a lot of technical problems here with Windows, okay? Wind interference from Windows. And anyway, I've kind of figured that part out now, and I had to reboot all the YouTube and all the softwares and all the everything. Hello, Love Driver. Hello. And we got the show running, and then all of a sudden YouTube writes to me and says, hey, you guys, you are breaking copyright laws. Okay? We have detected that you are breaking copyright laws. And I have no idea what they're talking about, because all the materials that I use have permissions. So I had to stop that show after 5 minutes, and now I'm starting again. And I don't know what's going to happen. You know, YouTube does whatever it wants. It's you can't fight YouTube. Hello, Mr. Ross. Good to see you. Hello, Love Triber. Hello, Precious. I don't know what's going on out there. I'm kind of freaking out at the moment. I do a lot of work to set up the shows and do the shows, and then there are so many other things involved, you know, that I can't control. So I'm just doing what I can. Hello, good evening. It's Sunday Night Live, SuperChat mini readings. We can just hang out for a while, you know. I think I tried to boot up the show about 6 or 7 times already tonight, and people probably just got fed up. So I would understand. Don't worry. I understand. I'm going to do what I often do in situations like this. If you'll bear with me for just a moment, I'll be right back. I'll just show you why. Some of you will recognize the clinking sounds. Okay. Hello, Chancey. Chancey, you sound new. Greetings. Greetings, Chancey. Usually it takes me 20 minutes or half an hour to warm up or something until we get sort of close to the point where we can actually do some readings. Okay, let me just show you the stage. I've got the stage set up, but it's very, very rudimentary. Okay, so these are some of my materials that I use during the show. This is a list of my own songs that I like to play on the show. All of you have heard all of these, I'm sure, multiple times before. The camera is doing some kind of autofocus thing that I tried to correct, but it won't let me correct it anymore. So I'm just going to have to put this aside for a moment. Actually, I'll just leave that here. Let me just share with you something else. Okay. So the camera settings are going to be very unstable tonight. I'm sorry about that. I'll just do the slightest thing. It's the autofocus system. It has some kind of override button that I can't control sometimes. Oh, hello, Chancey. I'm sorry, Chancey, I don't remember. I do a lot of readings, and sometimes I just don't remember. And I don't keep records. When I do readings, I do the readings, I do the recordings, and I send them over to the client, and then that's it, you know. I try to live in the moment. I don't really like to store a lot of information on clients. I don't like to create a long history of recorded materials because, you know, there's privacy issues and all those kinds of things, and I know how I feel about my privacy issues, okay? Thank you, Love Triber. Thank you for mentioning that. So what happens is, if you're interested in a mini reading, you can use the SuperChat. The SuperChat is like a little button. Most of you know it already. There's a little button, you know, where you're typing, where you're doing all the typing stuff. There's a button with a square, and it looks like a $sign in the middle of it. It has this kind of look. And there is like a sort of a weird $sign. That's the SuperChat button, and it's down where you type. Chancy, thank you. Hello, Blah. I've seen you here before, Blah. Thank you very much. Let me do something while we're here, while we're just warming up and getting checked in. I don't know if anyone's going to be here tonight. I'm sorry I had so many screw-ups just to get the show running, and so we'll see what happens. So a few days ago I did a show, a Terra Illumination live rant, and these are the things that I mentioned. And from my perspective, these are very, very important shifts and changes in the heavens, okay? Right now, it's happening right now. We've got the retrogrades, 4 big fat retrogrades. Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. And it's all happening right now. So that is a tremendous amount of like, wait a minute, we need to recheck, reevaluate, reset, reconsider, reconfigure everything regarding the energy of these planets. Hello, Manifesting Love. Thank you, Manifesting Love. If you want to get a reading, sure, you do the super chat. You put $10 in the super chat. That'll get you a reading. Super chat. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just going to convey this to people while people, like the viewers, if anybody wants to sort out a mini reading. So anyway, cheers. I'm trying to calm my soul. I am deeply rattled at the moment. So Venus in Gemini wants us to consider what is the meaning of money. Have a very, very close look at your finances, people. Have a very close look at global finances, people. Try and learn and understand about the world of money. What does it really mean to you? Money is what we believe it to be. Money is often what we are conditioned to believe it to be. So be very, very grateful for the chance to relearn and learn new things about money, okay? Next, Jupiter's in Capricorn retrograde. So Jupiter in Capricorn is typically not very happy. Jupiter likes to expand and grow and have freedom and to learn and to basically enjoy the adventure of life. And so Jupiter in Capricorn, it's like being a very, very happy puppy dog on a very tight leash. Okay? And Jupiter's retrograde, and it's very unhappy here. Jupiter is asking us to look at all the excesses that we have indulged ourselves in the last 9 months or so. And what does that really mean? And then Saturn comes up in retrograde and says, well, I will tell you what that means. It means you've just been enjoying yourself too much. You've been believing all the hype. You're believing in the concept of eternal expansion and everything's going to be amazing all the time. Well, I am Saturn retrograde in Capricorn, and I'm telling you that's just a load of bullshit. Wake up, wake up. And then Pluto says, excuse me, just get out of the way. I am a massive bulldozer, and I'm just going to crush and obliterate anything and everything that's not working. So you can talk about whatever you want. I'm just going to take care of business, okay? Pluto in Capricorn retrograde as well. And all of this is hovering very, very close to the natal birth point of Pluto in Capricorn for the United States. Now, as far as I'm concerned, hello? As far as I'm concerned, that's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It might look like it, to an astronomer or to a mathematician, but from my perspective as an amateur astrologer, when I see the configurations that I see in the charts in the heavens, and I can relate that to the United States, I see cataclysmic events. I see historical events that haven't been like this way in history for hundreds or maybe thousands of years. Humanity goes back like 150,000 years. And so what's a couple of centuries? Right now we are in an epochal moment in time in human history, especially for the United States. And we already know that whatever happens in the United States on the global financial scale affects everybody, okay? So it's really important to be aware. And for the next few years, we're going to be dealing with this intense pressure hovering around Capricorn 25 to 27 and 28 degrees. So we're right in the thick of it. Manifesting love. Yes, I can relate to any other time period. The most significant other time period is 1776. Guess why? 250 years ago, approximately, Pluto was in Capricorn roughly around 24 degrees. That's roughly the birthday of the United States, okay? So we have lived through one complete Pluto cycle. It's about 250 years, okay? Now, in comparison, for the moon, you know, it goes through all of its signs in 1 month, okay? Well, 28 days. Okay, so there's a big difference between 250 years and 28 days. Human beings can understand 28 days. It's very hard for us to understand 250 years as one transit, okay? So anyway, it's a big deal. Let me go back to the charts here a second. So I just wanted to reiterate some of the points about my rant. You can watch the video if you want, because I go into this in more detail. So this is happening right now, all of this. This is a very, very serious global reality check. These are the reality check police, and these are the people who are being reality checked, okay? Next, we just had a new moon in Gemini, 2 to 5 degrees. That's the sun in Gemini and the moon in Gemini. Plus we have Mercury and Venus in Gemini. And guess what? Guess what? I'm going to say this. Donald Trump is a Gemini, okay? Next, guess what? The North Node just moved into Gemini. It is now at 29 degrees. The South Node is at 29 degrees Sagittarius. Interesting, huh? Because this nodal axis is the same as the nodal axis for the United States. Okay, so you add this layer upon this layer, and you can now see when you add this layer, we're dealing with epochal, historical periods in astrology, especially regarding the United States. Next, okay, the eclipses. We got a big one coming in. Sun in Gemini, Moon in Sagittarius on the 5th. Okay, so that is conjoining, you know, well, by sign, it's conjoining the North Nodes. Okay, so all of this is pointing to what I consider validation that the United States is going through monumental cataclysmic changes. Next, we have the big eclipse, June 21st. That's a big one. Sun in Cancer. Sun in Cancer, Moon in Capricorn. Excuse me, I misdoodled this. So anyway, yeah. So this one is going to really affect the United States, and so is this, and so is this, so is this, so is this. So I just wanted to tell you. Anyway, so I'm just going to leave these here for a moment. I'm still very agitated. I'm going to go back hang out with you guys. Hello, manifesting love. Somebody wanted like a yeah. So if you want a reading, you put some money into the SuperChat. Usually it's $10, and you get a little mini reading. Okay. I'll just hang out here for a bit. All right, so I have no idea what's going on with the channel. It's very. I don't know what's happening with YouTube tonight, but the chat is just stuttering and blocking, and there's no recording of any of the people being here. So I'm kind of going blind. I'm seeing a couple of people, but I don't really know what's actually happening. So I'm doing everything I know how to do, and I've been doing this for years. So some of these problems are outside of my reach. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. Hello, Chansey. Thank you. I see that. Oh, Chansey. Wow. I'd like to know how the eclipses will affect my money and love. And or love. Okay. Well, probably going to get both. I am a Pisces sun, Cancer rising, Gemini moon. Wow, that's a lot of mutability. You know, the mutable signs, Pisces, Gemini, mutable signs. Okay. Right now, Neptune is in Pisces. Okay, and we have all this activity in Gemini. So you are like I would say, highly activated right now. And with the eclipses coming up, you're going to be even more activated. So I think look at it this way, Chansey. I don't think it's a coincidence that you're here. I think it's like, what's that saying? You're here, you're in the right place at the right time with the right people for the right reason. So you're going to get a reading. And we'll deal with that. I'm going to use the situational spread that I use for everything for just the mini readings. It's a very simple spread, but it can be very powerful in what it does and how it does it. And so the way I look at it is that I wish I'd kept my doodle. Think of it like a diagnostic tool. I just pretend I'm like a chiropractor or a doctor or a dentist, and I'm brand new. You haven't been here for a while. We haven't seen you properly before. And you're coming knocking on the door. Hello, Tarot Illumination. I want a mini reading. Thank you very much. And you might have had all sorts of readings with all sorts of astrologers and tarot readers. And you might have read all sorts of books, you know, about spiritual advancement and yoga and self-help and how to see angels and how to do yoga and all those things. And that's great. I'm happy for you. The more you do, the better. But when we're here, it's really just you and me. And so just pretend I'm just like a local, you know, auto tech guy on the corner, and you've got problems with the car. And you're like, I better stop somewhere. So you stop in, and it's the Tarot Lumination SuperChat mini reading tune-up center. And all I do is I use the SuperChat, I use this Tarot Illumination situational spread like a diagnostic tool. I just basically like plug it into your ears. And then we see what's going on. And then we give you the reading. And it's up to you what you do with the information. And of course we can go from there. So let's see what's happening. Hello, Libra rising. Yes, you may get a reading. Libra rising, Chansey, we'll get to you in a minute. I'm just looking to see that the chat is active. The chat's actually sort of working here. It's very slow. Hello, Love Triber. Thank you for advising. People, anybody, if you want a reading, there's a button. It's called the SuperChat button. It's right below where you type in your name and everything. And you click that SuperChat button, and it opens up a Google window, and you put your debit card, credit card, or whatever into that little thing, and you put in $10, and you get a reading. So that's how that works. That's how we've been doing it for a while now. So I'm just going to make a couple of notes here. Oh, hi, Manifesting Love. It says here, you just want a general reading for love and finances as well. You're a Virgo sun and moon. You're a new moon baby. You're a new moon baby, Scorpio rising, Western, but you're a Leo moon in Vedic. Okay, I know about Vedic. I did a bunch of studying of Vedic, and it's so different. And I mean, to me, it's very powerful in what it does and how it does it. But from my experience with Vedic, it's mostly geared towards relationships in the way that Indian astrologers do in India, because they're very, very focused on love and marriage and relationships. Other things too, of course. But one of the reasons that I don't really follow Vedic is because it's very different, and all the alignment of the planets are skewed compared to Western astrology, and they make very little reference to the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, in my experience. And for me personally, my main interest is with the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, especially because of the big picture concepts in which I'm very interested, you know. So I've stopped everything with Vedic. There's nothing wrong with it, and it will give you fantastic reports, but it's completely different from Western astrology. Okay. Okay, so let me go over here. I'm going to go to the stage for a minute. Hold on. Give me a second. So I'll put this aside for a while. We might come back to it later. We'll see. But right now, I want to get some notes going for Chansey. So this is what we're going to do, Chansey. First of all, I'm going to give you your magic post-it note. Oh gosh, hold on. I got to do some housekeeping here. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, so all right, so let's see let me scroll through the chat, because there's something very bizarre happening here with YouTube and the way it's doing the show. So I'll see if I can, let's see, get it sorted out here. Okay, so Chansey, sometimes if we have a lot of readings, I have a lot of post-it notes, but there's hardly anybody here tonight, so it's just going to be pretty quiet. Chansey wants to know about the eclipses, regarding love, money, regarding love and or money, and you happen to be a Pisces sun, a Pisces sun. What is it? Cancer rising. You know, I'm just going to do it over here. I'm just going to do it like this. Chansey. Questions regarding money and love. Okay. Referencing the eclipses. Okay. And you happen to have, and you go, well, I'm just making notes here, okay, for fun. Sun in Pisces, ascendant is Cancer, and a Gemini moon. Okay, so that's a little bit of a square there. It's okay, no biggie. It's nothing bad. Sorry about the wobbles. I don't have the time or the energy to fix the cameras right now. They're just going to wobble now and again as they go in and out of focus. I'm sorry. And then next, let me see, we've got, I've had another reading here lined up for, who was it? Manifesting Love. I'm just making notes for the different people tonight reading readings. Manifesting Love. And you're curious about general. Okay, general, okay, love and money. And making note that you're a Virgo sun. Sun and Virgo. And you've got moon and Virgo. And you're a Scorpio rising, Western, okay. Okay, so that's very harmonious. That's a very harmonious, comfortable kind of blend. And then someone else, did someone else just put something in? Hold on. Hold on, let me look. Oh no, we've got one of these people. Oh God, here we go. I'm sorry. Hide user on this channel. Oh, sorry, I've got to, so this is really exhausting. Remove that. I'm going to remove that. I got, this is just going to take up so much time and energy. Excuse me, I have to do more housekeeping. Oh, God. Okay, so anyway. I just did what I can to block the offender. That's all right. There's nothing much you can do. People are who they are. They do what they do. So right now we have, for this evening, we've got a couple of readings lined up. One for Chansey. I know, Gregory, I shouldn't let it bother me, but it takes up so much energy, mostly because it's a distraction. It makes me extremely angry, and I get very angry very quickly with these things. I don't know why. Chances are they'll be back again with another bogus kind of screen name, so hopefully it won't bother me, but anyway. So Chansey, you've put all this on record here for all of us here tonight. What I'm going to do is keep it super, super simple. And we're going to start with you. We're going to start with that spread, okay? Spread that I talked about already. But first of all, because as you can tell, some of you can probably figure out that I'm seriously rattled at the moment. And it doesn't have to be that way, but I am. And I'm not going to let it bother me because I know it's just one of those things where, you know, what do they call it? Shit happens, or, you know, bad stuff happens. I have to be careful with my language, even though the show is rated for adults only. I'm still very, let's say, paranoid about all the censorship that goes on now. Massive amounts of censorship going on across the internet. You probably figured that out. I've already gone through all my censorship stuff during 2019. Pretty much destroyed the channel, but I'm still here. I'm still actually here. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Manifesting Love. Cheers. Now let's get back to business, okay? Let's see what we can do. I just want to do some readings, okay? But there's such a lot of fractured energy. Like maybe I'm being affected by the retrogrades. It started very early this morning for me. I've been dealing with stuff all day, stuff that I don't really want to deal with, but I have to deal with. So we're just going to deal with it, okay? Here we go. All right, Chansey. So I'm going to put this aside. Well, actually, no. I'm going to put this over here. And well, I'm actually going to tuck it way over here. No, I'm not. I'm going to tuck it over here. And then we're going to do your mini reading. I'm going to use my new deck because I want to keep using it till I get more and more comfortable. Okay? It's a really cute deck. Alright, so it's a very simple spread. So it's a situational spread, and you'll see what happens when we do this. Cards are already well shuffled in advance. We're going to focus on Chansey's energy. And Chansey, I don't know what you're used to with tarot readings and things, but I tend to like to do things very simple, very pure, without any kind of information really. I mean, this is already a lot of information. The Pisces Sun, Ascendant in Cancer, so you probably have a very watery nature anyway. But with the Moon in Gemini, it might make everything a little bit like questionable. Like you might question yourself quite frequently. You might have a tendency to maybe overthink things, or get yourself tied up in mental knots that aren't really necessary, and then the mental knots get confused with emotions and feelings, and then the sensation of emotions and feelings get confused with thoughts. And in a way, they're actually different, okay? So, I mean, everyone's got a different personality and identity, and you've got yours. You don't have to put anything. You don't have to put anything into the type, or you don't have to tell us anything. We're just going to come out with the reading for what it is. We're going to go basically blind. So, Chansey, what I'd like you to do, this is just because this is the first reading of the evening. Thank you. What I'd like you to do, which is what I try to do, is to remind myself that I have a lot of invisible friends. I know that I do. Not everybody knows it, but not everybody's interested in these things. But I happen to have a lot of invisible friends. I consider them like my angels or the archangels or people who've passed over, loved ones from the great beyond. I know they're out there. I've had, many, many encounters in my life, okay? Hi, Nikki. So what I'd like you to do is kind of what we do here is take a few moments, take a few breaths, gather yourself, and just kind of do like a little miniature self-healing thing. Just 3 little breaths like that. It just helps to clear things. And then use your most vivid imagination possible and imagine that you are surrounded by your invisible friends. Whoever they are, whatever they look like, whatever they feel like. They're there. They are the energy fields, call them angels, who love you unconditionally. And they're there for you. They don't interfere with your life. They're just there for you, and they just want what's best for you. And it works so much better when it's by invitation. They love to be invited to be participants in your life. So please take that moment. Ask your invisible friends to gather around you and stay close, because then we can make this a group effort, because that's what I do here. And then we can do your reading. Here we go. All right, let's do this, people. Okay, here we go. So this one's for Chansey. Cards are well shuffled in advance, but I like to go to the last second, just for fun, okay? And to make sure it's totally clear for you. All right, this is good, this is good. So, Chansey, what I'm sensing here is that you're kind of a sweet-natured person. Almost wide-eyed is what I would call it. I don't know if you're sensing anything like this or if you've ever been considered this way, but I'm just going to have to do you an interpretation, okay? Hold on a second. Chansey? Sometimes we get weird mediumistic events and experiences happening on this show. For example, Nikki just showed up. Nikki's a professional psychic medium. And ever since you put the money in the SuperChat and you started chatting away, I kept getting this sensation from you, Chansey, that you're sort of like this. I'm just going to do a facial expression. This is the only way I can do it. It's just like this, like you have, it's like you have an avid curiosity about life, and you're intrigued about life, and there's a part of your nature, you know, like dogs, cats, pets, horses, birds, they all have like little personalities. We all do, everyone. And what I sensed from you is that you have a kind of a wide-eyed, youthful eagerness and curiosity about life all the time. Even when things don't make sense, there's always this sense of wide-eyed curiosity, like, oh, whether it's good or bad, that's not the real issue. It's just like the curiosity about life, okay? So I hope that makes sense to you. I don't know where that came from, but I just felt it very vividly, especially like as if we had eye-to-eye contact just now, okay? All right, so I had to get that out there. I know that Nikki would understand. Nikki has a very broad vision. Nikki's very good at remote viewing, for example. Oh, Nikki, I see your super chat. So we'll have to get you We're gonna give you one of these soon, okay, Nikki? Hey, Tina, I see you. Thank you so much. Hello, Sharita. Hi, Tina. I got yours. Actually, you know what? Let's just keep going. Chansey, I gotta make these quickly before I forget them. Manifesting love. That's a great name, isn't it? We have great names tonight. Manifesting love. Chansey. Nikki's here. Nikki is looking. Whatever advice my ancestors team has. Okay, we can do that. Ancestors team. Team advice. Okay. So we will do that. And I just saw one from Tina. Hi, Tina. Is that a doggy in the window? Do I see a doggy in the window? I see two doggies in the window. Two big German Shepherds. That's what it looks like to me. There we go. Okay, so we got a few readings lined up. Thank you very, very much for your kindness and generosity. Let's just go over here. Let's give ourselves a bit of room. We're going to need the room, people. Manifesting love. I'll put you up here. I'll put Nikki over here. I'll put Tina over here. Put the post-it notes over here. Make some room for Chansey. Chansey, I'm going to put these notes on the side. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look. All right, Chansey. I hope you're not a gambler. That was supposed to be a joke. Sorry. Pretty lame joke. I'm using the Tarot Lumination situational spread. I don't do any reversals or jumpers. I keep it super simple. Okay, let's have a look. What are the messages that we have here tonight for Chansey regarding the eclipses coming up June 5th, June 21st, regarding especially love and money? Okay, so we're just going to look at it as a broad diagnostic. Okay, let's break this up here. Super, super, super fun. Super fun. Now, here we go. If you have never done this before with this, Chansey, this is what it looks like. Here is the situation regarding the matter. Okay, here are the challenges regarding the matter, and here's how we're going to handle it. Okay, also we're going to look at the surrounding energies. Now, the surrounding energies are what we talked about earlier. I think of it as astrological weather. It could be anything, but from my perspective as your reader, this This is the energy field to which I am referring, okay? To me, this is very important. I look at it just like a lot of people look at the Weather Channel, okay? So, let's have a look. So, situationally, is this, okay. So you've got the Seven of Pentacles here. So, some people see this as a bit of a, sadly, a bit of a failure card here, but I don't like to read it that way. I think of this as ongoing, like a learning process. To me, it feels like with these eclipses coming up for you, love life and money, we're talking about pentacles. So in love or money, I'm looking at this as evidence of money, financial stability, financial value, financial resources, your financial structuring. Also regarding love, I'm looking at the same thing, evidence of love. What evidence is there of love in the life, in what I would call the genuine characteristics and desirable traits of love? Things like patience, consideration, kindness, good listening, respect, an allowance for private time, for you to have your private time. Are you being loving? Are you being loved? Are you valuing others? Are others valuing you? And it's all measurable in terms of physical evidence. Love is as love does. I see love as a commodity. I mean, hold on, give me a second here. I'm getting a bit carried away. So, Chansey, when I look at it from the love aspect, I feel love as though it's a commodity, like an expendable commodity. And in this physical lifetime, no matter what our concepts might be about the supernatural and the past lives and future lives, in our physical reality, we spend 1/3 of our life in bed. For a lot of people, another third of it working in some way, and the other third is just trying to get through and get by. Things like, having fun and filling the gaps, so to speak. And that final third is where a lot of people allocate love. But love covers all of that. We have to be loving to be loved. And when you have 1/3 of your life asleep and the other 2/3 of your life consumed with, let's say, activities that may or may not include love, you have to consider, what is the most loving thing that I can do right now? What is the most loving way that I can do right now, especially to love myself? Love thyself, because that's the most important thing you can do, because that's how you can become the most valuable to others. And you don't have to give love away all the time. You don't have to hunt for love all the time. The most important thing to do is to love thyself, literally mind your own business, do what you have to do, respect the self, love the self, be kind to the self, be patient to the self, heal the self, on all of those things. And all of that takes energy. And so sometimes we have to restrict our expenditure of compassion. Like if you happen to be a bit of a compassion junkie and you get off on being compassionate, for example, a lot of people do. For a lot of people, that's a way of avoiding. It's a very subtle, beautiful, effective way of avoiding having to be compassionate towards the self. But ultimately, you still have to be compassionate towards the self. Okay? And so my question here, the way I feel it, is that we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions going on about how you are expending your time, in where you allocate your time, where you allocate your kindness, where you allocate your money, where you allocate your boundaries, where and how other people treat you, how you are allowing other people to treat you, and then finally, what are you going to do about it all? There's a lot of process here of retrogrades, huge amount of retrogrades. What are we going to do about all this? See, do you see all the value here? Just imagine these pentacles as very rich fruit on a fruit tree, and they're theoretically ready for harvest, but it's very hard to harvest all the good stuff here because it has been neglected in terms of maintenance, like the weeding and the pruning and the caretaking. Perhaps out of just simple unawareness, like you didn't know that you have to take care of so much of these pentacles. And these pentacles of love, these pentacles of money, they need constant care and attention. Love thyself. You can't take any of this for granted. You can't treat yourself as a derelict, negligent farmer. Otherwise, your whole farm will turn to weeds. You own all of this. You own all the pentacles here. So it's a big question. What are you going to do about it all? It still all comes down to you. And it's better to take full ownership of all of this energy rather than worrying about like, oh, what's the government going to do? What are my sweethearts and lovers going to do? What's my retirement fund going to do? All that. Just focus on the details right now. So what's the situation? Okay, with the Eight of Wands here, it looks to me like you have a lot of pent-up energy that you would like to express. Perhaps like physically, romantically, sexually, things like that. And perhaps you are attracting that towards you, and that's fine. Also, it feels to me that despite to me this looks like it's very much related to the retrograde planets right now, which are putting a lot of pressure on you to reevaluate your life and look at your life as a beautiful garden that has become overgrown with weeds. Okay, and now you have to pay attention to it. However, with this Eight of Wands, my feeling is this is what I felt with you, with your natural, like, youthful enthusiasm. It feels to me like all you have are good intentions. I just want the right thing. I want to do the right thing. I want to be the right people in the right place at the right times for the right purposes. I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of love to give. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of energy that I wish to share. And I want what is best for me in my life, which is what's best for everyone in your life around you. It's almost like, to me, this again feels very innocent and pure and extremely well intended. Now, what's the problem here? It might just be that. Let's have a look. Hold on. I got to make note here, Libra rising. I just saw that Libra rising. I got you. Want to let you know I haven't forgotten. Libra rising. So we'll get back to the notes in a little bit, okay? The upcoming summer months, you want notes on the months coming up, okay? So we can do that. I'm just going to chuck you over here for now. So I hope you're with me so far, Chansey. Let's get back to you. Now, what is the problem here? Okay. Now, Chansey, this is a very strong masculine energy, but I'd like you to ignore the gender here with the King of Cups. What this is telling me is that one of the challenges is that, to me, it feels like there's a certain degree of sweetness and innocence about life in the world, combined with a strong desire to be, basically to be loving, to be loved, okay? And a newfound awareness that it's not actually so easy. You know, it doesn't matter how kind and sweet and well-intended you might be, it can actually be quite challenging. And so with the King of Cups here, my feeling is that deep down, to me it looks like there's extreme self-doubt when it comes to your natural ability to figure out what you have to figure out. Like some people, they live purely off enthusiasm. They live purely off their best of intentions, their wildest hopes and their wildest dreams, and they just keep going and going and going, and then they just hope that everything works out. In your case, with money and love. And that's great. That's fine. But can you see where that can lead to problems? Because it's almost like an unwillingness to face certain facts, certain realities, that there is homework that needs to be done, that there are issues that have been neglected, have been ignored, because of your natural desire to be happy and enthusiastic and passionate in your life. And so to me it looks like there is a deep fear about facing the profound emotional truth, the heartfelt truth that you already know is inside of you. Because to me it looks like it's a lot that has piled up. Okay, I'm going to have to do this visually. Stay there. So Chancey, what I'm sensing here is that deep inside you, okay, there is a massive reserve, a massive reservoir of capability to be loving, to be loved, okay? I'm feeling this reading mostly in terms of love, but so long as you don't equate the amount of money with how much you are loving or how much you are loved or how successful you are. Instead of money, let's talk about good fortune, like gratitude. If you're, for example, like in Bangladesh or Kolkata right now, there are millions of people who are homeless without power. Millions of people. Whereas you here tonight, you're on the internet, so you must have electricity, computers, gadgets, computers, shelter, all that kind of stuff. So in some ways you're very, very lucky, okay? So on a scale, you have a lot. So my feeling is that, let's admit it, you do have a lot. To me it feels like you have a massive heart core center. The problem is, to me it feels like acknowledging it, allowing it to come forth, because to me it feels like it's not neglected. It's more like it's just, it's hidden. To me it feels more like it's hidden, either because of your innocence and your preference to live life like in the moment and out there, rather than having to figure out things from the deep core heart center. So what this reading is telling me is that right now, these eclipses, whether you like it or not, are probably going to put pressure on you and force you to move your whole consciousness from here and the vibrancy of life to here, and take ownership. Because say, for example, with the King of Cups in this challenging position, let's say, to be honest, there's a lot of deep emotional turbulence, conflict, instability, and it's there, okay, for whatever reason. Maybe bad history in love, or bad history with money, bad history with relationships, things that go wrong, and they're so wrong that they're heavily repressed, and then that repressed or buried or energy that's ignored, eventually it wants attention. To me, it looks like you have a big, loving, rich heart, and you want to share, you want to do it. But the question is, how? And you can't do it just by pumping up, for example, on more energy drinks or more coffee, or just say, I'm determined to go out there, I'm going to do this. It's more about no, hold on. I have to take account of the retrogrades right now. I have to take account of the eclipses. Terra Illumination keeps telling people that the eclipses are evolutionary gateways. You come in, you're elevated, and you come out the other side, and you can't go back. So you might be feeling a pressure, okay, that you don't like, okay, perhaps regarding money and love. But I think the pressure is going to increase until you start to look at it from this perspective instead of this perspective. Okay, give me a second here. I don't think there's any ill will here with you, Chancey. I don't sense anything except but a very big, kind, rich, enthusiastic heart, and a lot of sense of curiosity about life and wanting to live life to the full. However, we have to acknowledge that there's a lot of things that are going to need attention going forward. So these eclipses are going to bring to attention all the things in your life, your world, everything to do with love and money that has either been neglected or of which you have no knowledge or any experience. But in order for you to move forward and to evolve, you're going to have to deal with it, okay? You're going to have to deal with everything in your life that obscures the opportunity for love to flourish and for your finances to flourish. So there might be a ton of what I would call retrograde type homework, okay? So how do we deal with this? Okay. Okay, so we have the Ten of Swords here. Okay, so to me it feels like let's acknowledge a few things, okay, Chansey? Let us acknowledge that there's only so much pain that you can handle. Okay? So if you're one of these people, let's just say you're one of these people who kind of lives in a little bit of deliberate denial, where you're constantly, okay, hold on, where you're constantly like suppressing the whole concept of pain and suffering, anything that's wrong in your life, you're just shoving it further and further and further under the carpet, into the kitchen drawer, out of sight, out of mind, because you prefer to be happy. You prefer to live life to the full in the way that you feel is appropriate at that moment in time. But I think these retrogrades are putting serious brakes, like pumping the brakes in your car, because you've perhaps been going too fast, with too much enthusiasm, too much high expectation about how things should be and work out in life. And we need a kind of a, like the pressure of the reality check police coming down on your shoulder, and they're basically saying, Chansey, 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 please slow down, slow down. We do not want to extinguish your enthusiasm for life. We, the planets, are basically saying we have to do a bit of homework. We have to do a bit of a cleanup campaign. If you really want to optimize your life in terms of money and love, there's a lot of homework to do. We're not trying to hurt your feelings, but it means you can't keep going the way you're going and expecting the results that you want, because it's just, it's overridden, it's overgrown, it's obsolete. It's like being a car stuck in the mud, okay? In the ditch on the side of the road. And the more you try to accelerate to get out, the deeper the wheels fall into the mud. Okay, so we can't do that anymore. Basically, we get out of the car and we start to figure out a new plan to move forward, okay? So, let me go back. Okay, so with the Ten of Swords here, my feeling is to admit, Chansey, that, let's be honest, there's an accumulation of, let's just say, have you heard that expression, death by 1,000 paper clips? Let's just be honest. There are probably many, many, many things going on in your life that have not been addressed, that are actually painful, or that cause stress, cause problems. These 10 swords here, to me, translate into the weeds over here, okay, if that makes sense. So we need a cleanup campaign. In other words, the eclipses, it feels to me like the eclipses in a very profound way are going to force you to turn towards the deep heart center of yourself and recalibrate your life to operate from the heart center and take full responsibility for living your life this way, okay, as opposed to whatever you thought was an effective like lifestyle or operating system for your life, okay? Chansey, I hope this reading makes sense to you. If you need more backup follow-up, please contact me at tarotlumination.com. You can find the links there. We'll figure it out, okay? We'll go from there, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that, Chansey. That's your reading. If you need to watch it again, you can do it on the Action Replay Rewinds, okay? So, I just want to check something here on the chat. Libra rising, summer months, okay. I'm just going to put that in here. What's coming up for the summer months? This is for Libra rising. So, Chansey, I hope that made sense to you. I hope I didn't scare you away. To me, this looks like a kind of a very broad spectrum reading that happens to have touched on some very delicate matters. And in a way, I'm glad that you picked Tarot Illumination to hear this message, because you know I would never do anything to deliberately hurt you, but it feels to me like you need to be aware of this. You need to be aware of what's not working, and you need to be aware of having to take the responsibilities to fix it, okay? All right. Thank you very much, Chansey. I'll put you over here. Manifesting Love, you're up next. Let's have a look. Now I'm going to clean up the deck here. So, by the way, sorry, excuse me. I'm going to just shuffle these up a little bit. Let's see. Give me a second here. Yes, Chansey, please make the best. I see your note there on the chat. Please make the best of these eclipses, especially because you have, I think you said you have that Gemini influence. I know I made some notes about you. Yeah, you've got the moon in Gemini, so this is a very important eclipse for you. Okay? Please make the most of it. Please allow yourself to be moved by the eclipses. Do not hold on to obsolete or redundant lifestyles or expectations about how life and money and love should work. Instead, please allow yourself to be moved. Allow yourself to be guided. Allow yourself to be protected. Okay? I don't see anything scary in the reading. To me, it's much more to do with like a sense of awakening, a sense of evolutionary leaps for you. All right, Manifesting Love. I'm going to go back and check on the screen here. It said something. Actually, I think I wrote down some notes for you. Hold on. Give me a second. I know I made some notes on Manifesting Love because you offered some notes. Again, Manifesting Love's kind of curious about subjects regarding money and love. Manifesting Love, a Virgo sun, a Virgo moon, so you're a new moon baby, okay, from birth, and ascendant in Scorpio. So this is a very harmonious combination, sun, moon, and ascendant like that. Very harmonious. I don't know what else is going on in the chart. But for this, it's kind of harmonious. When you have like a new moon baby, sometimes it's really hard to get perspective. It's like a very, very new energy. Like being able to distinguish, the way I would say it is thoughts from feelings, or your solar self from your lunar self. If you could say your lunar self in some ways embraces the past, the person that you were in the past, like say in a past life, and then with the sun in Virgo, who are you in this lifetime? So in a way, it's like a rebirth. It's almost like being born. To me, it feels like being born extremely innocent, being born in an energy field where you come in this lifetime deliberately in a very, very exposed manner, which means it takes a lot of courage it takes a lot of courage to do that, because it means you're going to be exposed to a lot of things through your life history, which might make it hard for you to discern, like, what I would call perspective. How can I say this better? Hold on. Again, it depends on the exact placements, but in general, what I've noted with new moon babies, new moon people born with new moon energy, is that there's it's like the energy of a newborn. Okay, you've seen plenty of movies and TV shows and documentaries where they show a newborn baby, or maybe you're a parent and you've given birth to babies and so on and so on. They don't know who or what they are. They're blobs. They have a brain and they have a heart and tissues and everything else, but things have not been fully formatted yet. Now, as you mature and turn into an adult, you're still there with a high degree of innocence, and it's almost like you are being formatted as you live, okay? Like people who have like hard square sun and moon, or a lot of opposition, like full moon babies, there's a lot of external energy that makes them, I would say, like question their experiences. Like, oh, I know from this, I know from that, that so-and-so and so-and-so isn't quite true, so I'm going to moderate my behavior. But it's almost like for new moon babies, whatever they experience is what life is, and there's no filters. It just is what it is. Like, oh, I'm really hot. Oh, I'm really cold. Oh, I'm really sad. Oh, I'm really happy. And it's very, very pure. It's very in the moment. And it takes a while to connect the dots to understand, why am I happy? Why am I sad? Why am I broke? Why am I rich? Or why did things go wrong in school? Why did things go wrong in love and relationship? Whatever it is. Just because of that new moon alignment at birth, okay? It's very, very, it's the energy of fresh birth, okay? Here we go. Yes, new moon babies, sometimes it's very hard to get perspective, okay? Hold on, I gotta move these up here. All right, manifesting love. Let's just see what comes up here. We're going to do the same thing. Please, we're not going to put any layers of expectation on top of this. We're just going to see what the story is as it comes out. Okay? Also, by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, manifesting love. Nikki's here. She is a powerful psychic medium, really good at remote viewing and things. And I'm not saying it's because she's here, but all I know is that sometimes the energy of mediumship becomes apparent on the show. And I'm already sensing energy from you, manifesting love. And to me, it feels very kind of Virgoan type of energy, where you know how Virgo energy in general sometimes can be very, very self-effacing, very, very shy, very retreating, not frequently not ready or willing, able to jump on full center stage in life, but more ready and willing and able to, let's say, participate in the margins in such a way that you don't want to hurt anybody and you don't want to be hurt. Okay? That would be normal. So, manifesting love. If you have, like, if you're sensitive or if you're hypersensitive and you're always very concerned about other people and their energy, like, I don't want to hurt them, I don't want them to hurt me. I don't know if you have that kind of characteristic within you, but I'm definitely sensing it over here. Okay? So you have to be very careful with that. Because in some ways, there are a lot of people who could take advantage of that energy. It would be very easy to take advantage of that kind of energy because you might have a high degree of innocence, again, sort of like Chansey. You might have a high degree of vulnerability. Sometimes people who are, let's say, shy or quiet, or who prefer to have a non-intrusive kind of lifestyle, predators are very, very good at spotting those people and take advantage of them. So you have to be very careful, okay, manifesting love, okay? Hey, Karen. Hello, New Zealand. Yeah, I'm sensing a lot of gentleness, okay? It's almost like, why isn't everyone else gentle? Why isn't the rest of the world gentle? Why is the world sometimes such a hostile, dangerous, volatile place? All right, let's have a look. Let's see what comes up here. Same spread, no jumpers, no reversals. Just very, very simple, very, very pure. Okay? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at the weather. Again, I'm using the same weather information as I'm using for everyone here tonight. Okay? This is the surrounding energy, and it's a lot of swirling energy. In other words, if this was the weather channel, this would be a lot, like a lot of weather alerts. You know, they see them on the weather channels. Alert, 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 alert. All of this is happening, okay? So, I'm glad that you're here manifesting love. It's like you just tuned into the weather channel to hear the weather report that you need to hear for you. This is specifically for you. So what's it like for you? Okay, so we got my tower here. So my feeling is, please treat this as a blessing. Please don't be scared of the tower. Please allow yourself to be transformed. Please allow yourself to, let's say, be affected. In other words, it's almost like throw yourself into the weather. Throw yourself into the retrogrades. Throw yourself into the eclipses. Throw yourself into the new moon. Take full advantage of this energy, because it is very powerful transformative energy here. So for some readings, I see the tower as a very powerful healing card, because it's kind of has the energy of destroying and pulverizing anything and everything that is irrelevant to you and your life, and whatever remains would be the seeds of new life. Okay? And it's not like the World card. It's not like the Death card. This is almost like having to surrender to, like, surrendering to nature. Surrendering to the healing power of love. It's almost, let me do this one thing. I'm going to do this with you, manifesting love, okay? Give me a second. Cheers, by the way. When I see that tower card, like the weather influences for you, it's like a massive, like, weather event, okay? It has all sorts of implications. You know, like you see there, like, oh, a tornado here, a tsunami there, a hurricane there, fires, floods, earthquakes, avalanches, whatever it is. Global warming, global cooling, the Earth axis changing, oh my God, Armageddon, okay? Either way, you're a human being, you're alive, you're on the Terra Illumination show right now, live, Sunday Night Live, and so we're going to make the best of it. When I see the Tower card there for you, to me it sounds more like this. Dear heaven, dear angels, dear astrological weather, dear retrogrades, dear new moon, dear eclipses, dear all of that stuff, please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Purify me, purify my life, purify my world. And then bring it on. And then allow it to come to you. And it might feel like floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, and you might be tumultuous, like, but it sweeps away whatever's not yours. Okay? Sometimes it's really shocking. It can be things like attitudes, people, possessions, concepts, living situations, relationships, whatever is no longer relevant to your ultimate evolution in life. Basically, it needs to go. It needs to be wiped out, obliterated, crushed, so that you can use the rubble as building materials for a new life. Okay, like a resurrection almost. Okay, that's more like judgment card though. Anyway, never mind. So please treat it as a powerful healing force. You have to bring it on though. You have to invite it. Okay, like inviting your invisible friends to join you in life. Invite the tower energy to come to you. okay, then you won't live at the mercy of the tower energy. You can become friends with the tower energy. It will come to you. And it's like a cleansing and it's like a healing. Okay? All right, let's have a look. What's the situation? You see? We have one of the most fun cards in the deck right here. And then we have one of the most scary cards in the deck right here. So, with the Sun card here, to me, again, this goes really, really close to your innocence. I've used the word innocence a lot here tonight. So what I'm feeling, it's like, pretend I'm you, okay? Manifesting love, and it's just basically like, really? I just want to be happy. Is that so hard? The situation is, I do have happiness built into my DNA. I want happiness. I deserve happiness. I am loving. I am loved. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the rest of the world, people? Why can't anyone else in the world see this or live this way or believe this? It's so pure, it's so powerful, so simple. This is all I want. This is all I deserve. But, okay, what's the problem here? King of Cups, again in the same position. Okay, this makes me feel as like it's a slightly different storyline for you, in that I think you understand what we're talking about here, manifesting love. I'm talking about big concept stuff, but if we're honest, I have a feeling you know that there are certain things in your life that are really either inappropriate or they're no longer relevant, they're no longer viable, and you might be holding on to them very tightly because that might be the whole way that you measure your life, and yet you know it is inevitable that there is going to be profound, like a demolition coming along of that which is no longer appropriate in your life. And this kind of contradicts with like the simplicity of life. Like, well, why does it have to be so hard? When in reality it's so simple. Whereas, like, why can't it be so simple when in reality it's actually extremely hard to do? Okay? So my feeling with the King of Cups for you is that it's almost like, I wish I could have a savior. I wish there was some bigger, more powerful force than me, someone like God, or someone like a beautiful, loving character, some kind of loving mate who was extremely mature, very competent, very capable in life, already an expert at loving and being loved, already completely manifested, evolved in ways to be like the embodiment of love in the most responsible ways. In other words, sometimes having to do very, very tough things in a loving situation, like sometimes having to say no. No to this, no to that, no to that. Sometimes being loving requires doing things that might feel very contradictory to what a loving gesture might be. Like if you're ending up having to be what amounts to very self-destructive in your behavior, or very self-effacing, or retiring, or constantly undermining yourself, that is not love. That's not loving. You are burning out your own candle. You're burning out your own light, burning out your own sunlight, in order not to be involved in conflict, not to cause conflict, not to be affected by conflict, okay? And to me, it almost feels like these are so extreme that they're so contradictory that there's this deep, deep desire to be saved, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be saved, But in the end, you have to save yourself. And so this deep, deep fear that there is no Savior. Maybe there is no Jesus. Maybe there is no Buddha. Maybe there is no salvation. Maybe life is just a bunch of experiences and then we all die. And that's the end of it. And so that's very scary. To me, it feels like a very nihilistic type of energy. Like, who's going to save the world? Who's going to save me? What's going to happen with Donald Trump? What's going to happen with my money, my banks, my love, my relationship, my whole life? Like, as though someone else is supposed to save you, supposed to save the world. And there's a deep fear that that's not going to happen. A deep fear based on the notion that you would love to have a savior. You would love to have someone out there who is omnipotent, bigger, more powerful than anything on earth, who is benevolent and will come and save us all and fix everything, like the president of this, or Obama, or Trump, or whoever. And then this deep, deep, deeper fear that, oh my God, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And that's terrifying. So you're left with yourself. Oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to be happy? What am I going to do to evolve, grow, adapt, and change so that I continue to be happy? Wow, look at this. This is big, big, big. This is a big reading, Manifesting Love. These are all, big cards. So with the devil here, my feeling is to basically acknowledge to yourself that you might be very, very deeply attached to the notion that there's something or someone outside of you that is bigger and benevolent, like amazing, like Jesus is going to come and save you. Something like that. And it's better, for me it feels here, like with the devil card, please understand that some people do these kind of things out of fear. A lot of people, I'm not going to criticize people who are religious, but sometimes people hold on to religion because it's like a safety net. It gives you people a sense of safety and understanding and order and structure. But in a way, it is an attachment based on fear. Okay? So what the devil card here, what I see, in order to deal with your growth, okay, the things that are going to be happening to you, okay, regarding love and money coming up, is to have a look in the mirror, maybe replay this reading to yourself, and let's just basically call it as it is. Basically say, wow, I'm deeply, deeply attached to outcomes and expectations that are being undermined and proven to be unstable, because ultimately no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save us. Things are just happening because they happen, because people make decisions. The President of America is making decisions. The Federal Reserve is making decisions. The federal government makes decisions. You can make decisions too. You don't have to outsource your life and your happiness to expectation of institutions or religion or governments or saviors to come and fix it all. That is an attachment based on fear. My feeling here is, with the devil card, is to understand and becoming aware of the deep, deep attachment to something that is ultimately going to let you down. Because ultimately, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to be the person who loves thyself, okay? Love thyself, be your own savior. No one else is going to do it for you. Otherwise, you end up being a predator. You end up being collateral damage to all of this and all of this. What's the point? You don't have to. You don't have to live that way. You don't have to live at the mercy of, let's say, outmoded, redundant, obsolete expectations. Okay? It's better to accept and understand, oh my God, I have to make my own decisions. I'm going to have to take control. I'm going to have to be the boss of my life. No more saviors for me. No more expectations of saviors. I've been deeply attached to that for too long. You deserve happiness. You can be happy. It is a choice, but it means having to go down into the self and basically save yourself, okay? Make it your business. Love thyself. Hold on. Sorry, I don't want to scare you, okay? Manifesting love, but I felt such a shy energy, and it would be so nice if like somebody really nice would come along and just fix everything, you know? But what the reading is telling me is like, no, manifesting love, no. You got to take care of yourself, okay? It's time, like, let's wake up. Let's wake up here, okay? Take advantage of all these energies. Invite them in. Let them move you forward into a new awakening, okay? New perspectives of life where you can release those attachments and start to look within. How am I going to save myself? Okay? Okay, let me go back here. Thank you, Manifesting Love. Hi, Nikki. Let's go. Let's have a look over here. What have we got for Nikki this evening? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play a Tarot Illumination song. It's like a power song. I haven't played it for a long time. I hope it works. Yeah, this is for manifesting love, okay? It's like, okay, I'm just going to show you. Hold on. Manifesting love. Imagine this is like a power song, and their lyrics are like, my immune system's fighting well, my immune system's fighting well. And it's just a repeated chant, okay? But it's kind of like a power stomp thing. It's like what I'm trying to do is encourage you to invoke the King of Cups energy inside you. Become your own master. Become a master of this. Become your own savior. And it has to start, I think, in a way very physically. Okay, so I'm going to play the song. Let me see if I can do it. See if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah, it sounds like this. Hey, so I had to get that out of my system. I hope you don't mind. Oh, we got another one, Sun Lehman. Oh, okay. Hey, that'll have to be the last one for tonight. I'm running so late and I ran out of steam, so let's I'll put that on the list there. Hey, manifesting love. Hold on, let me do this in stages. Sun Lehman, I'll come back to you, get your magic post-it note in just a second, okay? So manifesting love, I hope you understood the lyrics to that. It's basically like it's time to get yourself into that sun energy and totally own it from the inside out, so that you are literally your own savior, okay? So that means taking your power, and own it, okay? And then make the decision that I am my own savior. Bring it on. Please bring to me that which is mine. Take away from me that which is not mine. Help me to live in my own light to the fullest potential possible. Dear heavenly angels, guardians, invisible friends, help me to release all attachments to anything that holds me back from my happiness, especially attachments to specific outcomes based on the idea that there's someone or something out there that's going to save me. Help me to understand that my most important task is to love myself. Okay? Okay? Something like that. Okay, manifesting love? I hope that helps you. Nikki, you're up next. I just need to put up one more post-it note here tonight. And that's for Sun Lehman. Let me go over here. Give me a second. Let's have a look here. Sun Lehman. There we go. Heather Mocha, you're chanting the lyrics to yourself. My T cells are fighting well. Yes. I kind of wrote that song for myself to get myself out of a lot of major depression and physical and financial catastrophes. And it really helped. I have to tell you, I think it really helped me. Oh. Nikki, what's going on? Hold on, I want to say hi to Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Glad to see you're out there. Thank you very, very much. It's an amazing time that we're living in, isn't it? We've got some eclipses coming up. We got the Sagittarius full moon thingy eclipse, June 5th. Gemini Sun, Sagittarius Moon. There you go. Heather Mocha. I just saw you there on the screen. I do remember the name. I can't remember if we had any interactions. Heather Mocha. I do remember the name. Heather Mocha, for sure. So there you go. All right, Nikki. Let's see what's going on. What's coming up here? What are the messages that we have here tonight for Nikki? Have a look. So what messages do we have from Nikki's ancestral team for Nikki today? As some of you know, Nikki is a psychic and a medium. So it's kind of an honor. I always love it when we have like professional psychics and mediums come to the show. It's really cool. Thank you, Heather. I just saw your notes there. Yeah. Yeah. I'm learning how to do new things, by the way, everybody. So in case you haven't noticed, like this is a new thing. I might as well make a little announcement right now. Give me a second, Nikki. We've been going about 3 years and 3 months. 3 days, 3 hours, 3 minutes, and 33 seconds here at Terra Illumination. And so I thought it would be a very good idea to start doing something that I've wanted to do for a long time, which is direct email. And it's a way that I feel like I can have a better chance of reaching the audience in a way that's more personal, more substantial, and I'm much less reliant on the other platforms that are out there. This is something that I can own, so I own it, okay? And we'll see how it goes. So if anybody wants to, like if you're not a member, you can go to terraillumination.com and you can click the membership, or you can, you can subscribe, put the email in there, and there's going to be a way to subscribe soon we're going to have a way to subscribe through the channel directly, so you can put your email address and it goes direct to my email direct service, and then you get added to the email list. Anyway. Okay. So Heather, yeah, just feel free anytime. I'm very flexible with time and scheduling, so don't worry. You do it all through PayPal. It's very simple. And we do the meetings live, just like we're doing here, but it's in person, okay? You and me in person, one-on-one, super high security. No one can butt in. No one's going to hijack us. And then your reading will be recorded for the rest of time, and you can own it, okay? Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely mind-boggling that Terra Illumination is even here at all anymore, given the amount of attacks and the amount of suppression that happened with the channel. It's very sad, but Terra Illumination is still actually alive. Anyway, this is the journey of Terra Illumination. Here we go. So, Nikki, what kind of messages do we have for you, specifically from your ancestral team? In other words, what do you need to know from your invisible friends? Now we're going to filter that through a Terra Illumination situational spread, like we do. And we'll see what they say. Okay, cards are nicely shuffled now. Here we go. Going to break it up into a nice traditional cut. Here's the situation. Here's how we're going to handle it. Sorry, here's the challenges with it. And here's how we're going to handle it. Now, with the weather here, we're going to look at that in a minute. I'm going to reinterpret it as more like the influence of your ancestral team. You know, let's just say your ancestral team is very much aligned with the planets and the influence of the planets and all of that. And they're working in concert with the planets for whatever is best for you. So they only want what's best for you, okay? So how does that look when your team works in concert with the planets? You get this. Okay, so we have the Seven of Cups here. My feeling is like, to me it's like a message to go even deeper into the world of being Nikki. So partly, it's a bit of a warning, like be very, very, very careful. You know a lot of these things already, Nikki. When you happen to be highly psychic or mediumistic, or you have capabilities with remote viewing, statistically, in terms of day-to-day function, it's actually quite rare, and it's actually incredibly hard to justify or prove except through evidence. And so sometimes people who operate at these super high frequencies, I see this as like the dream card, like the fantasy card, the ability to connect with heaven and get divine inspiration from heaven by tuning into heaven, listening to all the messages from heaven. And this is also the card of like the inspired artist kind of energy. But I think it also comes with a warning, like, please be aware, Nikki, that you're already highly evolved. You already have very natural high levels of extrasensory perception. You're a high sensory perception being. Okay? And in some of the ways that works best for you is that you get instantaneous knowledge and awareness with your clients. Like you'll pick up on somebody's name, or a cat, or a person, or an energy, or something, and it's instantaneous and it's pure, and you don't have to prove it. It's just there. So I think the Seven of Cups here is, number one, understand how incredibly fortunate and rare and gifted you are to have these kinds of abilities. Also, of course, be aware that because you operate at these frequencies, you can be extremely vulnerable to the influence of other people who might, let's say, be aware of these super high energies, but they might have, they can operate. In other words, there are some people who operate also at other similar high frequencies, but with different intentions, okay? And since your intentions, Nikki, are very pure, I don't know, it's just like one of the earlier readings tonight, we had the theme of vulnerability. So, because in a way you are so pure with these kinds of energies, to me there's a double message here. Do not forget your power. Do not forget your abilities to tune into the divine and access the divine anywhere, anytime, anyhow. That is not in doubt. It will never be in doubt. But please be aware that from other people's perspectives, you could be regarded as a complete crackpot, a total nutcase, somebody who's completely delusional, out of this world from their perspective, which could like easily leave you to be a bit of a victim, okay, to other people's judgments, other people's perceptions of you. So what I'm sensing here is your ancestral friends want to remind you that you're very gifted in these ways, but just be careful, you're also very vulnerable, because to be able to do what you do and be who you are requires that you have to be like extremely trusting in nature and heaven and the universe, just in the way that really inspired artists live their lives. They just are what they are. They live in the moment of divine inspiration. Your ancestors want you to continue to be that way, but just be aware, as often happens with artists, it's very easy to become a starving artist. It's also very easy for artists to go insane or lose all perspective on reality and life, like they forget to wash, or they forget to do their finances, or they forget to eat properly. They forget, they live so far up in the heavens, so far in the clouds, that it could be easy to forget or neglect your physical day-to-day reality. So what's the situation? So we've got the Five of Cups here. So let's not get too wrapped up in the misery of this, but if you are grieving someone or something regarding matters of love, perhaps romance, perhaps a loved one in your life, perhaps someone like someone who's passed over, something like that. I think it's really important to acknowledge it. Like, this is, it's not the end of the world, but if you don't acknowledge the energy of grief, in other words, if you do have a reason to grieve, Nikki, right now, and it's at the point where, let's say, whatever it is that might trigger the grieving is so, let's say, uncomfortable emotionally that you wouldn't want to acknowledge it. Okay? My feeling with the Five of Cups is like it's important to acknowledge grief for what it is. In other words, let's say admit to the self, like, yes, perhaps I am lonely, perhaps I am lost, perhaps I am lost or losing in love, or have failed in love. I have not been loving, I have not been loved. Whether that's real or not, it doesn't matter. It's just what it feels like. To me, it feels like, okay, it's like your ancestors want you to know that it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to feel loss, sadness, sorrow. It's not the end of the world, but if you choose to deny that this exists, then it just becomes like a festering wound. Okay, you can't have that. Okay, I don't know what aspect of life this is actually referring to, but I see it more as the energy of grief itself and the needing for acknowledgement. Give me a second, Nikki. I want to be right back. I need another beverage. Okay, I'm right back. Cheers, Nikki. So, perhaps, so another thing here, I was feeling like you might be suffering extreme self-doubt about the whole concept of loving and being loved in this life, in this world, in this lifetime, okay? It's a very simple, easy thing to understand. Everybody would suffer from this at some point in their life. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be frightened of. To me, it looks like it's very real, and it just needs to be acknowledged. Let's have a look. What's the problem here? Impoverishment in relationship. I think this is very much to do like almost like a love reading, almost like love in relationships. And I've got the Five of Pentacles here, and to me it looks like there's a deep fear of having perhaps wasted away in time and love in relationships, where there's a deep fear of having chosen, or having a deep fear of loss, of never finding the kind of loving relationship that you want or that you deserve. I think you're very aware of the dynamic of love and relationship here. And I think your ancestors, they want you to acknowledge this. I know you like to be happy, Nikki. I know you have these very profound, acute, highly refined senses, okay? Basically ESP, which is great. That's fine. But when it comes to like three-dimensional physical stabilities of life, again, this all feels like a message. Like, the problem is that there might be a deep fear of making the wrong decisions, of being with the wrong people for the wrong reasons at the wrong time regarding love and relationship, where it becomes, it's like, it's impoverishment, like starvation, like deep fear of like depression era energies, like the deep fear of starvation. Like, I'm not saying that you're in it, Nikki, but just the fear of starvation, the fear of depression, the fear of lack of love, the fear of loss of love can become very consuming if you let it. So I think the beauty of the reading here is that your ancestors wants you to know that you're vulnerable to the fear of lack of love, the fear of loss of love, the fear of lack of money, the fear of loss of money. Okay, in very, very simple, pure things that need to be acknowledged, understood, and brought into the light, into conversation, so that you don't become a victim of your fear, and the worse the fear gets, the more and more you try to suppress it. That's not going to help. That's just going to make things worse. So what are we going to do about this? Okay, so with the death card here, to me, it's like, this is kind of like an energy of surrender. I'm going to play the surrender song soon. After this reading for you, Nikki, I'm going to play the surrender song. And you'll understand, I think, better than what I could describe in the reading. But the death card here, to me, it comes like, this is a very kind but powerful message coming from your ancestral team, saying, basically, Nikki, please understand that transformation is inevitable. Change is coming, whether you like it, know it, or want it or not. Profound, irreversible, evolutionary change is coming. Everything that is not healthy for you is going to be systematically, methodically sliced away. Some people think of this as the Grim Reaper, and people fear that. But it has a purpose. You could think of this as almost like Pluto energy. Like the reality check police are actually doing you a favor. Okay? It's like, you could try to block this if you want, but it's just going to make this worse. So my feeling is the way to handle your situation is to, even if it means a very tearful, sad resignation in terms of expectations about life, money, happiness, love, romance, stability, allow those fears to flow through you in a very simple emotional way, like a child that cries when it's sad or hungry or it hurts or it's scared. Basically, invite the transformation to come to you. Invite transformation. Allow yourself to be healed. Allow yourself to, let's say, face things, deal with things that are actually very uncomfortable, that you wouldn't wish on anyone, you wouldn't wish it on yourself. But if it's there and it's in denial, that's a real problem. I think it's almost like your ancestors are basically telling you, Nikki, do your own thing on yourself. Like if you were giving a psychic reading or a medium reading to someone and you've sensed something very painful in somebody and you brought it to the surface in your reading with that person, pretend like this is now happening with yourself, and your ancestors are acting through tarot illumination kind of as your own version of yourself, and they're basically like very gently opening you up to the idea, like, Nikki, let's face it, there are things that hurt, things that are frightening, love, money. Okay, let's just face it, let's deal with it and bring it into the conversation, let it happen, allow things to fall apart, allow the things that aren't working to fall apart. Allow the heart to breathe. Allow the heart and soul to cry. Allow the fear to come out. Allow it like a purging. And just allow the evolution to happen. Those eclipses, we've got 2 eclipses in a row, and they're very significant along the Gemini-Sagittarius axis and also the Cancer-Capricorn axis, also for the United States. So, because you're an ESP, you have ESP, because you're HSP, high sensory perception being, perhaps you just needed to have a reading like this from your people to remind you of who you are, how you are, why you are the way you are, and allow yourself to receive a reading about yourself from people who really love you and care for you, and they don't want you to hurt any more than you have to. They want you to grow and evolve and adapt and change. This is very much about transformation. And do you see over here, like a whole new life, a whole new world out there awaiting you? But you have to cross over to get to the other side, okay? So it's not the end of the world, it's transformation, okay? To me, it feels it's like they're saying, hold on. To me, it feels like, well, hey, Nikki, pretend I'm the ancestors and mixed up with Terra Illumination, mixed up with all the planetary weather, and your ancestors are saying, Nikki, it's you did ask for this, you did ask for a reading, so we're giving this to you. It's not a very pleasant reading, it's not a fun reading at all, but this is the message, and we know you can handle it. But it's best to just be honest and let those energies acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the grief, and then go through it and live through it. A lot of people don't want to do it. For a lot of people, crying is very, very painful. They will do anything in their life to avoid crying, because the actual experience of crying typically means having to go up to a threshold point where the body can't take it anymore, and the body cries, because that's the only way to release the sensation of pain and grief and sorrow. We cry. We cry in grief. We cry in sorrow. We cry in pain. We cry in mourning. Okay? And the crying is actually a healing. Okay? Everybody knows that, but nobody wants to go through the threshold and come out the other side, because reaching the threshold and then living through the threshold can be so painful. But that is the pathway to healing. That's how we cross over. That is the transformational journey to go from here to there. You'll be okay. You'll be fine, Nikki. You're also a super optimist. I know you'll figure your way out around this and through this. You typically like to help people. It might be an idea to allow yourself to be helped by certain people, whoever they might be. I'm here. If you want to do a one-on-one, we'll sort that out. Okay? All right. Oh, I just saw your notes there, Nikki. You cry all the time. Must be your Pisces moon. Yeah, okay. So, well, I actually, it's probably pretty good to admit that on screen here, Nikki. And that I go through periods of my life where I cry a lot as well. And the truth is, in some ways, it's kind of joyful, because when you come out the other side, it's a profoundly healing experience. Obviously, you don't want to live in grief permanently. You don't want to live in fear of losses permanently. But okay, so you just mentioned the Pisces moon, for example. So that's a lot of mutable energy, like Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo energies right now. That's a lot of mutability. So there's a lot of change and flexibility happening. I think it would be really helpful, Nikki, with this reading, to take it as just a very kind, gentle reminder that everything is exactly as it should be. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel grief. It's okay to feel frightened and lost, scared about outcomes, impoverishment, loss of money, loss of love, all of those things. But it's all part of the growth. It's all part of evolution, okay? Yeah. You can't help it, Nikki. You can't help it. You're just hypersensitive. You have ESP. You're a high sensory perception being, HSP. It's a gift. And for the person themselves, sometimes it's a curse. But in some ways, it's almost like you're helping others to heal. It's okay for you to heal too, okay, Nikki? I think you need a bit of healing here, okay? Thanks, Nikki. I'm going to play the I Surrender song now, okay? Just promised I would do that. I'm going to just do it, okay? Stay there, Nikki. It sounds like this. It's kind of a sad song, but you'll get it. I surrender. Oh, how the body craves. Oh, how the heart it aches. Oh, how the soul knows all of this. Feels like you manifested me in ways that match perfectly, answering my own wish for sure. So many lifetimes in the making. This time round there is no faking, no mistaking. I surrender, I surrender. My hands are held up high, my knees are on the ground. I surrender, I surrender. I hand myself over to the mystery of your sweet embrace. There's no going back, don't even have any maps to our new futures. There's only our next breath. We're so fully committed and so fully engaged, so courageous and fighters to the death, building bridges from your heart to my heart, forging bonds of honest structure, our new start. I surrender, I surrender. My hands are held up high, my knees are on the ground. I surrender, I surrender. I hand myself over to the mystery of your sweet embrace. Oh, there's no way around this, only way out is through. There's no way around this, open the door to bliss, only way out is through. That's what we're gonna do, yeah. I surrender, I surrender. My hands are held up high, my knees are on the ground. I surrender, I surrender. I hand myself over to the mystery of your sweet embrace. I surrender. My hands are held up high, my knees are on the ground. I surrender, I surrender. I hand myself over to the mystery of your sweet embrace. So there we go. I did it. Let's have a look now. All right, Tina, so you're up. Thank you for your patience, Tina. Let's have a look over here. Hi, Tina. Way over there in New Mexico. I know you've gone through a lot of big changes. I saw your... Where's the little thing? I can only see a little tiny circle where your chat appears, but to me it looks like there's 2 German shepherds in the picture. All right. I'm just having a sort of like a serenity moment right now. I'm just sitting here in my little space. I'm just kind of soaking in the wonders of everything that we do here. Like, I have the little studio. I've got the computers, the lights, the staging, the cameras, the software, the internet, the electricity. I'm amazed by all of it. And what I struggle with is just how slow it is for me to evolve as a person, to be able to, provide what I can and do what I do, knowing that I have more capacity, but to actually take that energy from up here and turn it into something viable and functional down here, physical reality on Earth, it's actually quite challenging at times. It's like being some kind of distillery, taking massive amounts of disparate energy that floats around, like Nikki does when she does psychic readings and mediumship readings. How do you do remote viewing from one place over here to one place over here in real time? Scientists can't explain that, but it can be done. Okay? How do you do psychic readings? How do you do tarot readings? How do you do astrology readings? I guarantee you that the scientific establishments regard all of this stuff as complete, utter nonsense. And yet, most people deep inside have some kind of sensation or a feeling or a belief that there's something above and beyond our physical perceptions, And I just had one of those moments just after I finished the reading with Nikki, and just after I filled up my little glass of red wine. To me, it was like one of these moments of gratitude where I realized, wow, I'm drinking a bottle of wine where the wine was grown over here, shipped over to here, bottled over there, transferred to a supermarket over here, and it's now in my hands here. It blows me away. I know, because I can see it on the chat, that you guys are there, I'm here. I'm just sorry. I mean, everybody takes YouTube for granted now, and TV and radio and smartphones and all of that. But today, I just had to feel, I realized, to me, this is amazing. It's amazing we can do this at all. Okay? I'm hoping we can continue to do this and grow and expand and evolve from here. But I just wanted to let you know that I was just kind of gazing around my little universe for a few moments, and I was thinking, wow, this is amazing. I'm an extremely lucky man. I'm an extremely wealthy man. I'm an extremely happy man. I'm an extremely blessed man. Thank you very much. And you can say that for yourselves too. You can tell yourself, I'm a very lucky woman. I'm a very wealthy woman. I'm a very happy woman. I'm a very blessed woman. I'm a very lucky person. I'm a very wealthy person. I'm a very happy person. I'm a very blessed person. You can say it in different tones of voice, but once you say it with the importance of I am put in front of it, it's like you're programming the universe. You are creating what is it called, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. You're using the power of I am to reprogram yourself by making a statement. I am loving. I am loved. I am healing. I am healed. I know it sounds like complete nonsense, but there are probably some people who would think well, I can prove that in physics. Super high quantum physicists, they might be able to prove that. I don't know. I can't prove it. All I know is that I believe it. So anyway, Tina. All right, Tina, I just had to share that with everybody. I was just having one of these moments of revelation, blinding, wonderful revelation about the wonders of life. because it's so easy to get swept up in the miseries of life, okay? Oh my gosh. I'm just seeing a note here from Tina. I don't know if you can see this, Tina and Nikki, but it looks like Tina is addressing you directly. Anyway, you guys can chat amongst yourself. I'm going to do the reading here for Tina. I don't know what it's like. I think it's different for everybody. But I know I lost my father a few years ago. I lost my mother a few years ago. I still get visits from my mom and dad from the great beyond on quite a regular basis. They loved me very much in their own way, even though they had a very difficult relationship as two people. My dad, after my dad passed over, he was with me for about 6 or 8 weeks on a very, very regular, consistent basis. My mother is more random. All right, Tina, let's see what's going on. I'm not going to, say what this reading is going to be about. Let's just see what are the messages that we need for Tina here tonight. Tina has shared some of her stories with us. So some people know about Tina and her world. Hi, Tina. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Now, anything can come up here, okay, Tina? Let's have a look. It's very possible that it's going to be concerning your recent events, like with the passing of your mom and things like that. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. Whoa. So when I see an ace like this, I see it as a card of sacred opportunity. And like, some people, consider pentacles only about materialism and money. But I think of it's bigger than that, Tina. I think that your angels, your invisible friends, they want you to kind of grasp life and be aware that we're looking at new starts and new beginnings here. This is sacred opportunity. It is right there in front of you. A wonderful chance to reboot, to restart your life in like really new, healthy, and positive ways. Now, it might be that your conditions are, let's say, tragic recently. I mean, I don't know the nature of your relationship with your mom and things like that, but I know you're very concerned. I know you're concerned about generational issues that you would love to have resolved, generational abuse and things like that. It would be fantastic to resolve these things. And so with the Ace of Pentacles here, this is like a reality check that the things that really need to happen for you in your life, in your world, are actually technically, physically, financially, circumstantially possible now. It's actually possible now, especially because I think this relates to the new moon. And somehow, in some way or other, that's a really good positive thing for you. In other words, this, despite the tragedy, let's just say it was a tragedy for you to lose your mom. And let's just say you're a bit disturbed because you're not sensing her there, you don't feel her there, okay? On the other hand, from the bigger picture, this is card of sacred opportunity. I don't know whether this is me saying it, your angels saying it, or like the astrological weather saying it. To me, it's just a big mush right now. All of it's happening right now. I'm just condensing everything, keeping it very simple. This is a card of sacred opportunity right now. It's important to grab it. You don't have to, but it's very beneficial for you. The circumstances are actually physically, in some ways, with your physical life, home, your family, your house, your world, it's beneficial for you. Leading to new horizons. Okay, what's the situation itself? Again, more pentacles. To me, it looks like it's a real chance to rebuild some kind of sense of home, family structure, and create a sense of, I don't know, like a bonding, like a realization, like a manifestation of good fortune. This is your time to me it feels like it's really important for you, Tina, to really take charge. Take charge of the situation. Look at things from a very, very physical, worldly, three-dimensional perspective. Don't worry so much about the emotional aspects, the intellectual aspects, or the technical aspects of how things are going to happen and why they're going to happen. But instead, look at your life from a very grounded, physical, material way about how this is, you're looking at a new chapter in life, a new chapter of life of some version of wealth and abundance, perhaps restructuring of the family in such a way that's perhaps been needed or wanted for a long time, where you perhaps, Tina, could be acting as some kind of central figure, like a mother figure, like what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Tina, I'm looking like Earth Mother figure. Like someone has to do it. It looks to me like, click. You're entering a new chapter in life. It's already started. Right now, the Gemini new moon, forget about the astrology, whether Gemini is good for you or not or whatever. Just think of it as a new start, new beginning, new moon, heading into an eclipse, heading into another eclipse, okay? It's a lot of shifting and changing, evolutionary leaps. No point in, dwelling on the past, wondering about coulda, woulda, shoulda, or ever this. To me, it looks like the message here is really strong. Take advantage of the situation, take hold of it, take charge in very physical ways. Home, family, money, the creation of, to me it feels like Earth Mother. To me it feels like there's a calling for you to step up and take on the role of Earth Mother. Okay? Or like the medicine woman. Someone who would take charge and reformat, restructure. Remember, all those retrogrades are happening right now. You might as well take advantage of it in terms of restructuring, rebuilding, refinancing, rearranging family, home, opportunity, responsibilities, money, and restructuring all of that in such a way that is healthier for you, and in such a way that the side effect is that it's healthier for everyone else in your closest family dynamics. And someone's got to do it. And this is a divine moment of sacred opportunity. Okay, let me go back. Now, what's the problem here? There's always a challenge. Okay, so with the Queen of Pentacles again, more Pentacles. To me, it's very simple. It's a question of like doubt, supreme doubt. Am I really up for this? Can I really do this? Is this really happening? Does it really make any sense? Why me? And like who says I have to be this almost like, I'm not saying a guiding light, but it's almost like be careful what you wished for and now you've got it. Like, sometimes out of the bad comes the good. Sometimes out of tragedies come good things. And because you're actually going to be living through it right now with all the eclipses and the changes coming up, and it's happening for you in real time, Pentacles, the energy of material matter, you might be having like serious grave doubts about, well, okay, that's great, Tarot Illumination, for you to talk about it in a tarot reading, but how exactly am I supposed to make this work? How did I end up having to be in this position where I actually have to carry the robes of being the Earth Mother? Who says that I can actually do this? Who says that I actually have the power or the talents or the gifts or the responsibility to do this? I don't know if I even want to do it. Like, why didn't it happen in the first place anyway? So this like, a sense of like, oh, God. Like, it's a great opportunity, but it's also a burden. Because with great power and great opportunity comes great responsibilities, okay? So how do you deal with that? It seems to be falling on your shoulders, put it that way. Okay, so I've got the Seven of Cups here. My feeling is the way to handle things going forward is to turn to the divine. Tina, we have, as you know, we have kind of built up a bit of a tab here, and so you're going to be able to cash in your chips anytime you want in the near future. And what I think here with the Seven of Cups, this is a strong indication that it would be really beneficial to just grab random mini readings from Tarot Illumination whenever you feel like you need them on short notice, and we'll tap into the dream world, we'll tap into the angels, we'll tap into the world of divine inspiration, because in a way this is almost the card of a tarot reader, like the ability to tap into the divine, the energy of divination. And so instead of actually worrying about the physical tactics, strategies about what to do and how to do it in order to take advantage of your situation, and how do you wear the mantle of Earth Mother? How do you move forward of being like the what do they call it? That person who holds the family together. What do they call it? Like the anchor person. There's another word for it. I can't remember what it is. But what I'm sensing here, Tina, this is very personal between you and me, where you take advantage of the tab, and like, as time goes on, every now and again, when you think, oh shit, I need a reading, you just kind of basically tap in and say, hey, I want to, let's do a quickie, and we just do something like this. So, okay, Tina. So in other words, you don't have to worry about any of this in terms of execution. You don't actually have to have all the answers right now. I think the important thing here is to number one, recognize the golden opportunity, understand that this is very good news, even though it's founded on a tragedy, and understand that yes, you have every reason to perhaps fear the degree of responsibilities and the heaviness of having to be the role of maybe the medicine woman or the Earth Mother, the one who has to be the anchor for everyone and everything else in terms of family dynamics. But don't worry about it. whenever you get to a sticky, awkward moment, just grab a little random mini reading from Tarot Illumination in the near future and figure it out as you go along. You don't have to have the answers now. We're going to be tuning into the world of dreams, tuning into the world of divine intervention, okay? The answers are out there, but you just on a need-to-know basis, okay? So don't worry. So don't worry about it. The answers will come to you through dreams, through divination, through friends like Nikki, through Sunday Night Live SuperChats, things like that. The answers will kind of like evolve and come to you as you need to, as you need them. Through spirit, through divinity, through tarot readings, through little mini readings with TL and so on. Okay? So that's how we're going to deal with it. All right. All right, thank you, Tina. Let's leave it at that. I'm really happy we did this. The show is not over. The show is just beginning. What do I do now? What now? What now? What now? What now? I'm going to do that live. Okay. So with that Ace of Pentacles, oh my God. Sacred opportunity. What am I going to do now? What now? What now? What now? What now? The reason I use that phrase a lot is because it really focuses the mind into doing what has to be done to love thyself. The most important decision is like, what is the most loving thing I can do right now to love myself? Because that's what's best for everybody else in my immediate world. Okay? The whole Gemini North Node is telling everybody to stop worrying about the big stuff. Mind your own business. MYOB in your tiny settings. Like your home, your family, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your day-to-day activities. Just focus on the little things and take care of them one little tiny bit at a time. And you'll get through. And sometimes the little things just include just getting a little random mini reading like this. That's all it is. Okay? The what now, what now, what now, what now. If you do that to yourself, Tina, like really like pound it in, like, okay, I have to tap into this energy. What now, what now, what now, what now? What now, what now, what now, what now? And it really focuses the brain. And then the brain is working for the heart. Okay? This is working for this. All right, Tina. Catch you later. All right, next up we have Libra Rising. And Libra Rising wanted to know about what messages are coming ahead for the summer months here. Got it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to shuffle it all up. Give me a second, sorry. I got a little distracted in my brain now. So I'm going to play a little song called Waiting. And I'm going to relate this for Tina. It's all about the new moon energy. And waiting on the will of heaven today. What are the messages that are coming? Basically tapping in, tuning into the moment. Okay? Sounds kind of like this. It's quite a long song, so just enjoy yourselves. I'm going to take a little mini break.
I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Walking in circles, feeding all the birds, climbing up a mountain, looking around. Yeah, yeah, smelling all the flowers, staring at the moon. I listen to the waves come crashing down, down. Whoa, whoa, I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Smelling all the flowers, staring at the moon. Listen to the waves come crashing down, down. Walking in circles, feeding all the birds, climbing up a mountain, looking around. Yeah, 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 I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Gotta tune in to what the angels say. I'm waiting on the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Do 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 waiting on the will of heaven today.
Okay, enough of that. Let's move on. We're going to work for Libra Rising now. I hope you're still here, Libra Rising. Let's have a check. Hello, Libra Rising. Let me see, where are you? I'm just going to check the chat to see where you are. Oh, you're right there. Sorry, I cut the song off a little bit early because it goes on quite a long time, and I was daydreaming, fantasizing about my life of an aspiring pop star, and it never happened. But I still got the music in me. I'd love to actually go up on stage and do things. It's just that, I don't know, circumstances. We'll figure something out. I have some crazy ideas, but it'll take a little while to get it together. It's basically like doing little virtual mini concerts, Why not? Alright, so Libra Rising. Okay. You had issues, questions. Let's go over here. You wanted to know, what's going on for me regarding the summer months coming up? Well, Libra Rising, these summer months coming up are kind of epic for the whole planet. It's the year 2020 is epic for the whole planet. especially when we come through the eclipse seasons. We had some eclipses early in the year. We're coming to a batch of eclipses now, and they are eclipses that seem to be heavily targeted towards the United States specifically. Okay, and I've already done a little video about it, but there's lots more that we could talk about. But for tonight's purposes, your questions regarding the summer months, they pertain specifically to the summer months. We're talking specifically about a lot of the planetary shifts that are happening for the whole of planet Earth over the summer here. Because for most of the summer in the United States, well, for the whole world, we're going to have a lot of retrogrades. Okay? Multiple retrogrades, in and out, in and out, in and out, and out. So that's going to be a tremendous amount of hurry up and wait. Oh, let's do this. Oh, wait a minute, we can't, because if we do that, then we can't do that. Oh, let's do this. Oh, wait a minute, we have to do this first before we do that. Oh, let's try this. Oh, wait a minute, we can't do that because we haven't done this yet. And everything is kind of, it's basically like being held on a very, very tight leash by the reality check police. Okay? Hold on. So big energy behind all of it is Pluto and Saturn, around the Capricorn energy. I know technically Saturn is kind of in Aquarius right now, but it's retrograding back into Capricorn for one more sweep, then it goes back into Aquarius. And so basically the pressure is going to keep coming onto planet Earth, especially the United States, because the United States is kind of in a very unique position in the global ecostructure, because we are the dominant currency. The US dollar is the common denominator for 88% of all global international trading transactions. Things like gold, oil, gas, all of it is traded through dollars, US dollars. So the United States has a massive advantage and a supremacy in terms of kind of being able to do what it does, simply because the United States has ended up, for better or worse, becoming the default reserve currency on planet Earth. That pisses off a lot of people. A lot of people are thinking wow, it's not fair that America gets to do whatever it wants with its money. America gets to print money to infinity, whereas we all have to operate under the shadow or the umbrella of America. So we can't function in our economies unless we mimic what they do. Because if we don't print money to infinity in our own economies, then our currency will be destroyed. So basically, like it or not, the United States has a large impact on the rest of the world regarding global finances. I don't want to get stuck into all of that. But anyway, a lot of that stuff is going to be brought into global conversation for most of the rest of this year, especially through the summer. With the eclipses, okay? We've got a bunch more eclipses after the ones that I talked about, especially because the eclipses relate very closely to the United States itself. So the United States itself is going through a massive evolutionary grinder. It's like being distilled, crushed, pulverized, like a meat grinder. And everyone on Earth is affected by this. You can blame it on the virus if you want to. That's like the catalyst. But it's how do we react? How do we respond to this virus thing? America's doing one thing, other countries are doing other things. But if you look at places like Lebanon, a couple of other currencies that are imploding, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, other countries, their whole economies are imploding because they don't have the ability to print money in their own currency, and the rest of the world has to oblige. They can't do that. So they're trying to print their way out of it, but it's not working. So it turns into financial disaster. It's like World War III conducted through the currency exchange, you know? It's very, very weird. There's no bombs being dropped. There's no nuclear holocaust. It's warfare, World War III, conducted through the currency markets. Anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a rant. But anyway, this summer is going to be profound for the United States. And you're asking for your own Libra rising reading to be appraised under the same, energy fields. Okay, so it's the same thing. The same planetary energies affect you as the individual, as they affect the United States as a country, as they affect the world. All right, so cards are shuffled. I shuffled them while we were playing the music a bit, okay? So give me a second here. We'll have everything ready to go for you in just a few moments. Dear Libra Rising, thank you for being here, by the way. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. It really, really helps to keep the channel going. I know I kind of moan and groan a lot and I complain about this and that. But the channel is still alive. It's hard for me sometimes to believe that the channel is still alive, but it is. And I think it's mostly because I made a decision to keep it alive, because there have been many periods over the last year and a half where it would have probably been a much simpler, easier thing to do just to shut it all down. But inside of me, I couldn't do it because it felt like I would be killing my baby, and I didn't want to do that. Okay, cards are shuffled. Dear Libra Rising, what kind of messages do we have for you tonight for the summer months? Okay? Let's just have a look. Same spread. It's a situational spread. It basically adapts to the moment. Okay? So here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at the weather for you. So this is a highly personalized approach to the reading. For you, we have the Knight of Swords. Okay? So to me, this feels like for this summer, dear Libra Rising, it's really important that you do what you know is right for you. You do what you know that you have to do, and you do not apologize, okay? To me, it looks like it's really important that you take advantage of all these things that we were talking about, okay? I don't know if you were here earlier on in the show, but I talked about these items, and I also did another video a few days ago about all this stuff. This, to me, is kind of like a miniature condensed astrological weather report for these moments in time. Okay, we got the retrogrades right now. A lot of this is going to be going on throughout the summer. Take advantage of this, okay? We've got the new moon in Gemini right now. Take advantage of this, okay? You've got Mercury and Venus in Gemini too. Take advantage of all that energy. The North Node just shifted into Gemini. Take advantage of that. Study North Node in Gemini. What does that mean for you specifically? Go and look at your astrology chart. Go to astro.com and figure it out. Find out what is your North Node. Also, find out in your astrology chart, look for where Gemini is in your chart. Okay, I'm going to make a little doodle for you. Okay, for Libra Rising, let's just say this is your chart. I'm going to make a little astrodoodle here for you. What I would like you to do, what I think this is telling me to tell you, is to really, really focus like on information, technology, internet research, the the amazing, powerful tools and information and knowledge that's out there available to you, with you as a Libra rising, the Gemini energy could be quite advantageous to you because it's harmonious. Gemini and Libra are harmonious. What I would like you to do is to do your homework on your personal astrology and find out where Gemini, okay, I'm going to divide this up. Let's say this is the Gemini energy over here, okay? So for Libra rising, right now, the Gemini North Node is right here, 29 degrees. North Node, Gemini. What I'd like you to do is research, like go online and start researching North Node in Gemini. And then go to your own chart, your own astrology chart, and look for wherever it is in your chart that you have Gemini between 29 and let's say 22 degrees. Look for wherever that is in your chart. Okay? Look wherever that point is in your chart. Doesn't matter about the rest of the stuff in your chart. Wherever this point is here, 22 to 29, somewhere here. This could be anywhere in your chart. You've got a Libra rising. So if you've got Libra rising, let's say, okay, so if you've got Libra rising, the chances are the Gemini energy is going to be up here in your 9th house. Sort of like this. Okay? So, study the 9th house. Study Gemini North Node. And study how you can take advantage of the Gemini energy that's very harmonious and beneficial for you as a Libra rising. Okay? Because you've got Libra rising. So it's almost like I'm giving you a little bit of homework. So this is advantageous to you. Find out what it is, where it is in your chart, read about it, study it, and find ways to take advantage of that. And then once you study that, once you learn what it means for you, make very clear decisions that I'm going to take full advantage of everything that I know, everything that I've learned, everything that I'm going to experience by having the courage to go forward and leap through all these evolutionary gateways. Because this summer in the United States, we're going through multiple evolutionary gateways. It isn't just one gateway, it's multiples, okay? So I think the best way to handle it is to charge, go forward, just dive into it with vigor, with enthusiasm, with courage, and the determination to learn and grow and succeed when you come out the other side, which will probably be like, in about another year from now. So what's the situation itself? God, this is the third time tonight this card has been up. So with the King of Cups here, okay, so, gosh, it's like, to me, it feels like, this is going to sound really strange, okay, dear Libra rising. This again feels like another outsourcing thing. It feels like my situation, pretend I'm Libra rising, like, oh my God. I don't know if I got the ability to actually do this. I sort of understand what TL is talking about over here, and that's great. And excuse me. Let's just say TL knows vaguely what he's talking about, and that, like, okay, so this is great. The energy is very, very conducive to your evolutionary advantages, so long as you have the courage and the conviction to dive into this massive collection of evolutionary gateways that are going to be happening over the summer. This is just the first salvo. This is just the first round of it. We're going to go through the next round over here. Then we have another round of more stuff like this later in the year. Okay? And actually, for the next few years, it's just huge leaps over the next few years. And so my feeling here is with the King of Cups, it's just like, this is like an oh gulp moment. It's like, I'm going to just do it for you. Hold on. It's like, what are you telling me, Tarot Illumination? What are you saying? And I'm saying, dear Libra Rising, I'm giving you your reading. And then the King of Cups is coming up for the situational energy. Okay, the energy of, like, to me, and that's very much to do with you. And so it feels to me like Libra Rising, what it's saying is just like, again, like, with great power comes great responsibilities, and you're going to have to do this. You have to do this. You're going to have to somehow or other, like, pump up your courage, pump up your conviction, pump up your sense of sovereignty, your sense of your maximum ability to be, like, how can I say this, like, to be the most high integrity person that you can be. Okay, when it comes to this, in other words, it's almost like, you know how I talk about sometimes of, like, a lot of people live from the neck upwards, where the physical body is the servant of the head, and how what I like to try to do on this channel and for myself is to make my head the servant of my heart, okay? So that I'm not living at the mercy of, like, twitchy energy up here, like, oh my God, this, I need to check in with this, I need to do my email, I need to do my grocery shopping, I need to check my bank account, I need to get a job, I need to quit a job, I need to find money, whatever it is, like, all these things, because we experience so much of our life from the neck upwards these days, especially because we're so disembodied from the land. You know, 100, 150 years ago, everybody lived on the land, and it was much more of a full physical experience. Nowadays, a lot of people live from the neck upwards, and everything from the neck downwards is now considered just an extension, like a robotic extension of the head. But where is this? What I'm suggesting on this channel is we have to come from here, even though there's so much pressure here. So when I see the cups, the King of Cups for you, the situation is that even though the summer energies are advantageous for you, and they're urging you to figure out what you have to figure out, study what you have to study, learn what you have to learn, the point is to get to the point where you're operating from here. This is like in other words, your operating system is from here. It's not from here. So in other words, study and learn how to operate from here. I hope that makes sense, because it seems to me that if I didn't explain it this way, it wouldn't make any sense at all. So I'm suggesting, like, if you happen to be cerebral and you kind of understand what I'm talking about, then it would make perfect sense to almost act like a scientist, behave like a scientist, do your homework like what I was talking about. Study the astrology, study the north nodes, study the movement of the planets, do whatever you can so that you can learn how to make this the servant of the heart. So you're not operating like a detached wobblehead, like this doesn't exist anymore. You know, it's not healthy to live that way. Anyway, let me keep going. So, to me, it's like you already know what we're talking about. King of Cups energy here is like, it's very strong energy, and to me it feels like, it's like you know this is coming, you knew this was coming, you know you're going to have to do it with great, knowledge, and it comes great responsibility. You wouldn't be here, you wouldn't have had this reading unless you were ready, willing, and able to receive it. So I think, and I'm hoping, well, I think you do understand. I think you do get it. I think you get what I'm talking about here. And let's go forward. So let's figure out what are the problems with operating this way. King of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So it's almost like to me it feels like really, really contradictory energies. Like, it's almost like, hold on, the only way I can do this, Dear Libra rising, to me it feels like it's what the card is saying with the King of Pentacles there in this challenging position is like, it's almost like the way you might respond is like, wait a minute, Tarot Illumination. That's like, it's great for you to say this in a tarot reading. That's kind of cool because you're kind of like way out there on the internet and you're just like this wobbling head. And I understand what you're saying, but do you have any realization what that means for me in my actual life? If I actually devote time, pretend I'm you right now, Libra rising, like TL. If I actually devote all the time and the energy that is required for me to understand exactly what you're talking about and translate that into something useful in my life, do you realize that when I devote all that energy towards bringing this into service of the heart, do you realize I could end up broke in the meantime? What about my day job? How am I supposed to get money? What am I supposed to do with all my time? What if I'm already consumed trying to live my life? And how am I supposed to be rich? How am I supposed to succeed when I'm doing these like spiritual, intellectual pursuits just to satisfy your message on your tarot reading? Huh? Like, where's the money? Like, are you going to pay me to do this stuff, Tarot Illumination? Are you going to pay me to study what I have to study? Okay, so I would totally understand your point. Okay, dear Libra rising. So the second message that I'm feeling here with the King of Pentacles is like, God knows how on earth am I supposed to maintain and sustain my sovereignty of self, my sovereignty, my financial security, my financial stability. How on earth am I supposed to maintain a job, get a job, grow a career, grow money? What am I supposed to do? It's great to have all these intellectual, spiritual pursuits, but, it's actually very hard to live if I can't pay rent, or I can't pay mortgage, or I can't pay my credit cards, or I can't pay my college loans, or I can't pay my car payments. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to stay on top of this, all this stuff, when the rest of the world is collapsing? Am I just a piece of freaking collateral damage? That's fear speaking, okay? Now, how do we handle all this? hey, Marilyn, I see you. I see you. Hi, Marilyn. So Libra rising. So how do I handle it? Okay, this is going to sound like a really rude, blunt message. This is going to be one of the tarot readings that I really wish I didn't have to read. I'm sorry, Libra rising, but I'm just going to kind of call it out here. I see the Chariot there as the way forward. The way forward is to make a vow, make a really, really profound commitment to yourself and to the universe that no matter what it takes, I'm going to do what I have to do to get my life together. I have to get my life together. I am going to get my life together. I am getting my life together. I have my life together. Okay? And that's going to be something that you're going to have to work through over the summer. But it's going to require, like, number one, intense humility to be able to, like, accept the message of this reading, like, oh my God. So, Tarot Illumination, in a back to front roundabout way, you're telling me, like, I don't have my life together, and that the reading is telling me, like, get your life together, take charge, be the boss of all this thing, get in front of the problems, look for the problems, observe. Is that what you're telling me, Tarot Illumination? Huh? And then Tarot Illumination kind of goes, actually, yeah, yeah, sorry about that. Sorry. Yes, it's a little bit like that. So that's what I'm seeing here, Libra rising. Like, there's no escape. These are all big, powerful cards. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of you. I have a feeling you could be a formidable challenge in a let's say a discussion. Like, you know how in universities, in law school and things like that, they have these competitive discussions about how to destroy your opponent through legal arguments. That's what they do in law school. So I don't know if you're involved in law school or if you have any intentions to go with the law or whatever it is, but to me it feels here like the message is pretty straightforward. You're going to have to take advantage of what's happening over the summer and use your time very efficiently. Take full advantage of it to study and understand how you can grow and evolve, to take more responsibility, to be in your full sovereign self from the heart center, so that you can actually prosper and function in the material world. In other words, there's no point in trying to live like this, you know? There's no point in like forcing a certain physical reality that you would call wealth and abundance to happen at the expense of the deep heart soul energy here. No, it has to be this way around. And for that to happen, it means that you and no one else but you is going to have to take charge and take control of the situation. It means you're going to have to dedicate time and energy, kind of like being a college student who has to qualify or else. Okay? Like you're under pressure to qualify and certify and become your most amazing self, and no one else can do it for you. You're not allowed, you can't cheat, there's no way to cheat, there's no way out of it. It means you have to look at your world around you, you have to accept that you can't piggyback on someone else's success, you can't follow anyone else's modus operandi, you can't just fit in with the status quo and hope that you survive. No, you're going to have to figure out for yourself exactly what are you going to do for yourself in your world in order to survive and literally survive. I'm not necessarily be rich, but just survive in such a way that you maintain your integrity at the very core here. Okay? Over here. You have to take charge. You have to take full ownership. You have to be the person holding the steering wheel in your life. Okay? You have to work the pedals. You have to work the gears, the brake, the accelerator, all this. You have to study and learn what it takes to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to live completely at the mercy of all the, let's just say, influences throughout the summer. You can't afford to do that. You really cannot afford to do it. You have to take charge. You're going to, literally, you are the one who has to get your life together. You can't outsource your lifestyle. You can't get anyone or anything to do this or that for you. You're going to have to do all the homework, all the study, all the implementation, to take charge, to take full ownership so that you have full sovereignty of self, so that the brain is the servant of the heart. And then you have true sovereignty of self. Please take advantage of this summer. To me it does not look like an easy path or an easy journey. It looks like something where it's like, like a college student that has to do a lot of homework in order to get qualified. But it's worth it in the end, because that's how you get your life together. You take full responsibility, you take ownership, and you learn what you have to learn, you study what you have to study, and then you implement. Okay? Thank you, Libra Rising. I hope that helped you. I really do. If you need to check in, yeah, there's going to be a lot of big shifts, big changes, a lot of upheavals over the summer. That's for the whole planet. Okay? So if you're feeling that for yourself too, Libra Rising, then fine. But take advantage of it. Do all the homework that you have to do. Study, and then implement. Okay? Sun Lehman. Okay. Looks like this will be the last reading of the evening, people. Thank you very much, Sun. Cheers. Thank you, Libra Rising. I'm just going to shuffle up the cards, okay, Sun? Ah, goodness. Let me just check a couple things here, see who's on the chat and everything. There's something really wrong with YouTube tonight. There's so many things that are screwed up on YouTube right now. I don't know what it is. I don't have time to figure it out. But it's been incredibly hard to work with their platform recently. Still, we're going. Okay. Good night, Libra Rising. Take care. Hope to see you again. Please become a member. Check the links below. Become a member. That's the way you can help out the best. Help out the best. Hey, Sun Lehman, are you still here? I hope you're still here. All right, so this will be the last reading for the evening, everybody. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. So I just want to check in something here. Hold on. For some reason, the YouTube is not doing any reporting tonight. They tried to shut down the video earlier. I reconfigured it. I managed to keep the show going, but we seem to have lost a lot of functionality with some of the stuff that happens here on the channel when you're running a YouTube channel live. So I really don't know what's happening out there. All I have is a little bit of the chat, and I'm just trusting that we're connecting. I can see you and you can see me. Sun Lehman, I see you. Okay, so that's good. So we can do your reading. Everyone else who's here or not here, I don't know who's here anymore because YouTube is not reporting anything right now. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity. And I hope we do this again soon. I'm hoping to be here next week. We'll do the same thing. Tell your friends, tell your family, spread the word. And if you need personal readings, private reading, you just go to tarotlumination.com, go to the connect page, go to the subscribe page, put the email, all of that stuff, and we'll sort it out, okay? The personal readings are very similar to this, but we do it just live in private, and it's all recorded, and it's much more like, it's like safe and secure, and you can say whatever you want, okay? All right, here we go. All right, son. Good night, Marilyn. I see you. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. I'm just doing a very last second shuffle here. This is for my own peace of mind. Dear son, could you please do like, I'm just inviting you to like take full advantage of the situation here. You know, if you've got your own kind of magical ways to invite your invisible friends to come and hang out with you, so we can make it kind of a group experience. That's what I try to do here. I operate here on the belief and the understanding that I am surrounded and that I am guided and I am protected. I have my invisible friends and they love me and I love them and they just want what's best. Bye, Marilyn. Take care. I guess a lot of people have gone to bed already. One last little round here and we're there. Son, I haven't seen any notes from you, so I'm just going to go completely blind with your reading, if that's okay. You can just enjoy whatever comes up, okay? I got it. Got it. Got it. Oh man, I hope I kind of hope we keep the channel going to the point where I can get to the point where I can do what I really love to do, which is kind of share some of the healing things. I mean, it's really fun to do the astrology. It's really fun to do the tarot and everything. But there's another layer beyond all of that, which I ultimately believe is just to do with healing. And I think the tarot and the astrology are kind of tools and pathways to healing, and all healing ultimately is self-healing. And when I tried to go on that pathway about a year or two ago, it was great for a while, and it was a wonderful experience, but then the channel got really heavily demolished, and it made it very difficult to do what I really like to do. So I haven't been able to do what I really want to do or share what I really want to share with people. So I'm just making do in the meantime, if that's okay. Dear son, the deck is well shuffled. Thank you very much. Son, hold on. Give me a second, please. Okay. All right. Sorry, I was just trying to pick up some feelings that were coming through here. It was to do with you, son, and I wasn't sure what I was sensing, so I had to take a moment, like a moment of silence, just to figure out what I was sensing. And I'm still not sure what it is, but it's something to do with your demeanor, your manner, the way you present yourself in public, and how you like to be seen, and how you wish to be seen and perceived and understood here tonight on this show, in this reading. And to me, what I'm sensing most of all is dignity and presence and honesty and integrity. And that you would like to be perceived that way, and you would like people to know that that is like fundamental to your nature. I hope that makes sense to you. I don't know where that came from, but there it is. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it, okay? Now we're going to look at the weather. Again, it's the same stuff we talked about earlier, okay? I'm calling this the weather, because this is what's happening right now. It may look just like gobbledygook to many of you, but I look at it as simply, like shorthand for a pile of information relating the movements of the planets and how it affects us here on Earth. Okay? So this is primarily what I look at considering the weather. And so when I look at the weather for you, I'm taking into account what I just showed you. Okay? Here we go. So we have the Six of Pentacles here. So my feeling is that for you, dear son Lehman, perhaps like many people on Earth, or if you're in America or a westernized economy right now, you might be having real concerns about your finances. And that would be appropriate. Okay? Everybody should be concerned about their finances right now. Money is what we believe it to be. And what is happening on planet Earth right now is that everybody is being exposed to the kind of smoke and mirrors, the illusions that happen in the world of money. Personal finances, global finances, okay? The way money comes in, the way money goes out. How do you earn your money? How do you spend your money? How are you valued? How do you value other people? How much money do you have? How much money do you spend? Are you in equilibrium? Are you in balance? Are you bringing in this much money, but you're spending this much money and creating debt? Are you earning or bringing in this much money, do you have this money, but you're creating surpluses by being very frugal and responsible? Are you aware of how money works? Are you aware that money is it's very fluid? For money to be effective, it has to move. It's one thing, it's okay to store money and to keep money as a security, but it's also very important that money circulates and moves. That's currency. Currency, like the rivers, like the current of the rivers, the currents of the ocean. That's what currency is. That's what money is. And so with the Six of Pentacles here, my feeling is that it's really important for you, son Lehman, to kind of go deeper into your accountability, to go deeper into your finances, to understand the ebb and flow of money in your life. Where does the money come from in my life? Where is the money going to in my life? Is there balance? Is there harmony? Is there an optical illusion? Is there something solid and real? What's going on here? Am I owed money? Do I owe money? Either way, I look at it as the ebb and flow of money, the current of money, as money comes in and out of your life. Now, money, and I'm also really, I would also expand on that in terms of things like uh, like like uh, like jobs or savings or retirement funds or getting qualified in college or something like that. Anything to do with your physical, financial resources in the past, in the present, and the future. What's going on with my resources? Pay very close attention. What's the situation itself? So, with the Nine of Cups here, okay, there might be a feeling like you, Sun Lehman, you might be one of the lucky ones. There are certain people who are actually benefiting and enjoying all this thing like the lockdown, the economic, financial pandemonium, the financial catastrophes that are happening all over the world. Some people are actually okay. Some people are actually enjoying this. They actually like, wow, you know what? I think it's an amazing thing that's happening right now. It's almost like pretend I'm almost pretending like I'm a version of Sun Lehman. Hold on. So Sun Lehman, what I'm sensing here with the Nine of Cups for you is that it's almost like all this cataclysmic stuff, these financial catastrophes, the Armageddon, the apocalyptic events that are happening across the world right now, the financial devastation of certain countries, certain currencies, certain economies, certain people, certain strata of lifestyles. Like in America, there are a lot of people who are considered non-essential employees. There are certain people who are considered essential employees. Certain industries are essential, certain industries are not essential. And what I'm sensing here with the Nine of Cups for you is that you're like in my own way, I'm Sun Lehman, and it's really not that bad for me. I'm sorry, if some other people are having a really hard time, but there's certain aspects about what's happening which is I'm actually kind of enjoying it. Okay? Sun Lehman, I can relate. I am personally enjoying the lockdowns. I feel like I am benefiting from the lockdowns. I feel like my whole life, even though I've got a lot of pressure and challenges from certain things right now, there's a part of me which is like, I'm actually grateful. It's just like, this is like the reality check that we need. This is what I want. This is what I need. And I'm sorry it's really tough and it's really hard for a lot of people. Millions of people, billions of people are really struggling with all of this. But for certain people, it's not that bad. In some ways, it's almost like a wish come true. Some people call that Nine of Cups the wish card, okay? So, perhaps in your own way, perhaps even in a very, very modest way, there's a part of you which is feeling like, actually it's not so bad for me. I'm kind of happy the way things are. And I'm sorry about everybody else. Now, what's the challenges here? Okay, so with the Moon card, to me this feels very... Okay, so Sun, my feeling here is that what I'm sensing from you is that you're very conscientious, you're very well-meaning, and you only want what's best for the world. You want what's best for you. You want what's best for humanity. And even though circumstances may not be so bad for you as they might be for other people, there is still a very deep fear about, okay, so, what actually happens, later this year or next year? Am I going to be okay going forward? I might feel like I'm okay right now. I might feel like I am at least figuring out a little bit about the ebb and flow of time, money, energy, resources, people in my life, getting things in balance, like if I've got debts and I'm paying them off, if I've got assets and resources, I am optimizing them, and that's great and that's fine. But deep down, it looks to me like, if we're honest, there's a huge sense of insecurity about the big picture. Like, well, what's going to happen with the planet? Like, is the whole world going to go into World War III? And even though I might be sort of doing okay in my own way, am I going to go down simply because everything and everyone else is going down? That's very, very scary. That's a very, very frightening scenario. In other words, does it really mean anything that I actually do have a little bit of my life together while everyone else is floundering and suffering? Because deep down, if I look at the news, all the Fox right-wing news, all the CNN liberal left-wing news, and I realize it's all based on fear. Oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What's going to happen with the rest of the planet? Am I going to go down with the rest of the planet? Is this really the apocalypse? Oh no, oh no, oh no. How are we going to deal with that? Hold on. Okay, so I've got the Six of Swords here. To me, this is relating very much to the Gemini new moon and to the eclipses coming up. And also, there's going to be a Gemini new moon eclipse later this year. Wait a minute, what am I talking about? There's a Gemini new moon, we just had that. Hold on, give me a second here. I got to think about this. We got the Sagittarius Gemini full moon eclipse. And then later in this year, we got the Sagittarius new moon eclipse. Sorry, forget what I just said. With the Six of Swords, I think what's happening here on this reading, I'm actually sensing up into 2021. So the way to deal with your situation right now is to think long term, think about the big picture, understand and accept and be aware that there's a lot of very big, frightening, scary things happening in the world around you right now over which you have absolutely no influence or control, so there's no use worrying about it at all. In which case, what are you going to do now in the meantime for your own self, your own world? Okay? What I see here with the Six of Swords is like, only take with you what you need. If happiness and harmony and balance and equilibrium in life means like downsizing, going forward, you only do what works. Sometimes it means moving, leaving, shifting your attitudes, moving to a new place, a new town, a new location, new people, with new attitudes, new perceptions, going into a new lifestyle, a new concept. In order to survive, in order to maintain your harmony, in order to maintain balance, in such a way that you are not impacted so heavily by the really scary things that are happening all over the planet right now. In other words, yes, you, son, you're impacted by all the big energies just like everybody else, okay? So this weather is universal. I mean, this weather applies to anyone and everyone on the planet right now. So the question is, what are you going to do with it in your world? How are you going to interpret this and optimize this for your benefit down the road, especially into late this year and into 2021? Well, the way you deal with it is basically don't worry about anyone else. Don't worry about the rest of the planet. Take care of yourself, mind your own business, balance your books, do everything in a very methodical, balanced manner. Be aware of how lucky you are just to be alive and be able to get through this at all and have a little, even a glimpse of some kind of sense of happiness. Be aware that a lot of people, millions, in fact billions of people, are suffering and having a really, really hard time with this. But it doesn't mean that you have to suffer individually. Instead, the way to go forward, it feels to me like just do what works for you. Do not apologize for removing yourself or separating yourself from anyone or anything that does not work for you or does not make you happy. If you have to let people go, let situations go, move house, move jobs, let go of expectations of careers, lifestyle expectations that you might have held in 2019, and just go forward in 2020 and 21 where, like, you know what? It might be cool just to be seriously downsized. Like for some people, what's happening with these planets is an amazing thing. It's a tremendous relief. Like, wow, I'm going to downsize my life. I'm going to get rid of all my debt, get rid of all these obligations and commitments. I just want to be happy. I deserve to be happy. And I'm only going to go forward with conditions, terms, understandings, agreements, beliefs, information that I know works for me and perhaps a few loved ones and a few precious belongings, and that's it. Nothing else matters. Minimalism. There you go, son. I just saw your note on the screen. Minimalism. Go forward with a very serene, it's a very spiritual approach to going forward, on the understanding like, well, the world is going to do what it's going to do, and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. You don't have to carry the weight of the world. You don't have to suffer the burdens of humanity. You have perfect rights, obligations to be happy, and if that means minimalism, just shedding, then fine, just go for it. Now, you don't have to tell us your whole life story or what minimalism means to you, but that is your word, and I think it's the perfect word for the Six of Swords here. Okay? Thank you, son. I'm really happy we did this reading. Thank you so much for your kindness and generosity. Hello, Lily. Whoa. Hold on. That's your reading, son. Thank you. Lily Lynn. You're over there in Austria. Hello, Lily Lynn in Austria. I hope you're well. By the way, I want to tell you, everybody, if I don't know who's here anymore. I can't tell because YouTube is not telling me. But Lily Lynn is creating her own oracle deck. And one day it will be available. So, there, I'm just letting you know. Hello, Lily Lynn. Thank you, son. Thank you, son Lehman. I'm going to play another song now. I imagine a lot of people have gone to bed already. It's very, very late on the East Coast in America. It's like, what is it? It's Monday afternoon in New Zealand. I don't know what it's like in India. I'm going to try and do some more shows soon where I can have other time zones involved, which means I have to put the shows up at very different hours. But for now, this is all I have right now. I hope to do a show on Wednesday. Hi, Lily. I'm going to play a song now. It's called Love is the Word. To me, it's like a power song. It's something that, like, when I'm really like in the zone of Terra Illumination and I'm really like completely centered and I'm deeply, deeply in my power, I like to stay there. And I'm going to play you this song that I use, that I wrote, and that helps me to stay there. Because it's actually, in some ways, I don't know what they tell you in different cultures or different religions, but it's one thing to get into the heart center energy, and it's a whole other thing to stay there. Okay? It is so easy and so tempting to migrate back up to here, where the heart is the servant of the brain. And I know from personal experience that is ultimately a pathway to pain. Okay? Pain is pain, what it is. But when you live and operate from here, at least the pain has meaning. And you can handle it. Okay? So I'm going to play you this song. It's kind of a long song. It's kind of my, good night song for the evening, I suppose. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to play it right now. And we'll start to wind up. It's been a wonderful night. Thank you for your generosity, everybody who has been here, who is here right now. It's called Love is the Word. Okay? Oh dear. For the skies, opening my hands to welcome in the day, gather in the sun's rays before I'm on my way, and the healing vibrations rattle through my soul, shaking out the poisons, making me whole, casting out diseases by chanting the word. The sounds of the universe by all will be heard. Resonate inside us. Love is the word. Moving through the day, pray no accidents arise. Giving thanks to heaven that I am still alive. Blessing my enemies, blessing the ones I love. Praying for forgiveness for any damages I've done. And the healing vibrations rattle through my soul, shaking out the poisons, making me whole, casting out diseases by chanting the word. The sounds of the universe by all will be heard. Resonate inside us, love is the word. Now the day is done and moon is on the rise. My trials and tribulations all bottled up inside. I summon in the love as I reach up for the skies. I command all fear and shadows be gone before my eyes.